I'm standing with Eddie Cheever. He starts on the inside of row 4. Eddie, Mark Dismore starts right next to you in the middle of the row, and the two of you just had a brief conversation. About what?
Oh, Mark realizes, like I do, that there's 500 miles to go, and he just told me that he will hold his line and not to worry from that side. So it's always good you have somebody intelligent standing on one flank. Mark is a very hard competitor, and I can guarantee you if he's in that leading pack at the end, he'll be a problem. But it's good that we kind of sort our things out in the beginning. I have had an accident here in the first lap, and it's silly. So
you're a former winner here. You know what it takes to go 500 miles, but at the same time, with the threatening weather,
I knew what it took that weekend. I don't know what it takes this weekend.
With the threatening weather, do you change the strategy from a 500-mile race to potentially a shorter one?
Well, I can tell you one thing. Around the 90 lap mark, I'm going to be moving that way as fast as I can. Because if it rains at 101 and you're not in front, you're not going to win.
Eddie Cheever.
Thank you very much. Mary Holman George, ladies and gentlemen, let me say that I'm going to be very brief to bring you one special message, and that is that we are proud to be here at one of the greatest sporting events in the world to pay tribute to the finest military in the world. When Janet was growing up in Indiana shortly after World War II, virtually every family had a member in the military or a friend. We had tribute to great Americans who are here today, and I want to introduce them to you. We have 3 Medal of Honor recipients. We have Samuel Davis. Come on up here. David Dolby and Michael Thornton. These gentlemen represent service from all the way from World War II through Vietnam, and they are the reason that each one of us sleeps under the blanket of freedom safely every night, and they represent the best and the brightest of our country. So please pay tribute to them. And when you heard the sound of those Harriers and saw the sight of those Harriers overhead, as one said, that was the sound of freedom. And thank God they're ours. Now tomorrow's going to be a special day. And I'm asking that all Americans join in paying tribute tomorrow on the day, a moment of remembrance, the first national moment of remembrance that we will celebrate to pay tribute to all of our fallen heroes, but then every day to celebrate and salute the men and women in uniform who keep us safe and free and proud. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
So the ceremonies continue here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The sky brightening. Again, the morning dawned gray. We had a little bit of sunshine between 9 and 10 o'clock, then enough rain between 10 and 10:30 to force what will now be approximately a 3-hour delay in the start of the Indianapolis 500, but a lot of time before sunset here in central Indiana, so there shouldn't be any problem barring any more rain getting the 500 miles in. 200 laps around this 2.5 mile oval. The 33 drivers getting ready to get strapped in, or at this point even strapped in completely into their machines. And of course very shortly we will have another tradition with Jim Nabors singing Back Home Again in Indiana as we once again join the PEA announcer Dave Calabro.
Race day conditions, please clear the pit area. If you are not associated with a racing team, directly associated with a racing team, clear the pit area. It's race day. Well, race fans, it's time for that traditional back home again in Indiana. Please welcome back Mr. Jim Neighbors.
Back home again in Indiana, and it seems that I can see the gleaming candlelight still burning bright through the sycamores for me. The new mown hay out its fragrance through the fields I used to own. When I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, how I long for my Indiana home.
And normally that is followed by an immediate command to start the engines, but there will be a slight delay right now because of having to take the cars back to the garage area and then back out to the track again. They are refueling some of the cars, so in just a couple of minutes we will hear those famous words or some variation thereof. Let's check in with Jack Arute. Jack.
Al, how important is aerodynamics? Well, the Target Team Ganassi crew is literally taking helicopter tape and taping over a lot of the grommets where you can take off the side pods to try and make it smoother. As we count down towards the Indy 500, for Juan Montoya, Juan, is it still just another race?
No, it's not another race. I think it's a big event. It'll be pretty interesting to see what happens.
What about on the start? Will it be a challenge into turn number one?
No, we're going to try to make it pretty simple. If we have a run, we'll have a run. If we don't, we'll settle for second or third, whatever we are.
In 200 laps, Al, probably the most important area are these mirrors. And Vince Welch, we know that these mirrors can sometimes make the difference between winning and losing, especially if you don't look in them.
That's exactly right. Scott Sharp has his mirrors right here, and he's starting at the front, in fact, the middle of row 2, so he's going to have a lot of cars in the back. Scott, you had a significant problem with your clutch in the last practice session on carburation day. Is that a concern for you now? You've not had a chance to run the car since then.
No, it's not, Vince. I'm really confident in these guys. We had a slight adjustment problem. The car was fine in the air, but once we put it on the ground and loaded it, it gave us a bit of a problem, but the Delphi guys fixed the car. We got out at the end of carb day, a couple shakedown laps, everything seemed to work fine.
Everything seems so hurried right now, but these guys have got their focus. They're ready to go. It's been a long wait for the Indy 500, but we're...
Final preparations then for the Indy 500. We are all but underway, so we'll get a break away and we'll be back with the lead up to the start of the year 2000 Indy 500.
Children taken from their families.
There are some wounds that are just too painful ever to be reopened.
To a place of eternal youth.
I know your sister is out there.
Where the spirit world read through clairvoyance.
It's your mother. She's here in the room with us.
Cuts through years of deception.
Allow him his ignorance. It's what gives him hope.
The quest finally ends for Mulder.
And I've been brought here to learn the truth.
A brand new episode of The X-Files tonight at 9 on Sky One.
By simply taking one less short car journey a week, we can reduce pollution, which can aggravate asthma in children. Click it, the environment. Are you doing your bit?
Ah, Rapunzel, my cupcake. Does I love a boy?
Wait a moment, darling. I'll just let my hair down.
Ooh, too short by a hair's breadth.
Then you'll just have to wait for my hair to grow.
What? I'd have gone bald by then.
Well, hair today, gone tomorrow.
All you need is a Red Bull.
Why? Because Red Bull gives you wings.
Yes, but it also stimulates the mind, so get downstairs and open the blooming door.
When your mind wanders, where does it go? When you get lost in thought, where do you find yourself? With United Airlines Mileage Plus, you can earn miles quickly. So one day, sooner than you know, your body can join your mind. And what a time the two will have. United Airlines. Life is a journey. Travel it well.
I can hardly stand up.
Oh dear, we're getting him too much beer.
At Tesco, we've cut the price on hundreds of different beers and ciders to make them permanently low in price, just in time for the football.
Well, that's the party sorted. Thank you.
Tesco, every little helps.
As an American sports classic, the Indianapolis 500 creates its own legends. And again today, the present will be tightly linked to the past.
They're racing in Indianapolis.
A.J. Foyt will win the Indianapolis 500.
John Cock and Beers! Over the roar of the engine, you can hear the 400,000 people. Mario Andretti.
Parnelli Jones.
Johnny Rutherford. And look out, a crash before the start of the race. He won it by less than a car length. No one has ever seen this before in Indianapolis.
Levi on the wall. He goes into a terrible slipstream of a fire.
Al Unser Sr. takes the lead in the Indianapolis 500. You've got 18 laps to go.
We made history. Now it's your turn.
Greg Ray makes a move and takes the lead of the Indianapolis 500.
Bobby Gordon is on fire.
I believe that's the closest finish in Indy history. Eddie Cheever has won the 82nd running the Indianapolis 500. Buddy Lazier picks up the lead of the 500 with 8 laps to go.
Billy Bode has qualified for the 84th running of the Indianapolis 500.
What will happen today? What history will be written today? What legends will be born today?
And if you can tell me at home where you could get all those famous names from Formula One stood in one room like that for the cameras to mess around, I'd like to know where that would be. Russell.
They do take a picture of them at the end of the year in Australia, don't they? All the Grand Prix drivers, and they sort of sit on the grid and try to look as though they're enjoying themselves. But
yeah, but the cries of "I want to stand in the front."
Well, yeah,
always a bit of a
and
problem.
some of them don't wear the right suits, and they put the jackets on because they're feeling a bit cold.
We've got to say, over the last half an hour, we've had a tremendous build-up. Some of it slightly gratuitous for my taste, but of course, I was quite interested that Chris Tate not only takes on board the fact that he will be running an oval very soon, he actually sings their national anthem as well, which is quite amusing.
Yeah, that's right, and I think they've all sung the American national anthem up in Corby as well earlier on this afternoon, and quite right too, and we'll be doing that when we run American racing at Rockingham. But what a great build-up, what a great event.
Indeed, and you're going to take on board exactly those kind of ceremonies as well. American national anthem, not the British national anthem.
Both.
Oh, good.
Both.
I am so pleased to hear that. Well, let's get back now to trackside, where we might have something meaningful coming from the track at last for the Indy 500.
Waves a ceremonial green flag, and the man in the foreground is our boss. That is Howard Katz, who is the president and executive producer of ABC Sports. He will wave the green flag today. That is a perk and a half. Let's go back to Jack Arute.
Al, Jimmy Vasser first came to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with a very good friend of his named Jim Hayhoe. Since then, he's been away for a while, but he's part of this potent Team Ganassi team. Jimmy, does your experience here count for anything today?
Well, we'll wait and see.
How about this long delay? How frustrating is it for you? Because I know you've waited for a long time to get back here.
It's not so bad. I mean, it's the same for everyone, just trying to wait out the rain. I mean, it's pretty simple like that.
This is number 2 car in the Target Team Ganassi team, but it is also a number 1 driver, and we want to show you right here on the steering wheel. See these 2 little lights there? When a yellow comes out, those lights will begin to blink. That's a signal for a driver to slow down. But also when those lights go out, it's a signal that the pits are open and time for service from his target Team Ganassi crew. 6 guys over the wall. Al?
Hey, Jack. Well, they're telling us right now another beautiful aerial view of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway that in about 2 minutes we will hear the sound of those 33 engines at Indy. Since 1911, the legends of racing have made their mark at Indianapolis. What's next? Who's next?
I was the first 4-time Indy winner.
I broke the 150-mile-an-hour barrier.
I shattered 200. My quest to be an Indy legend begins today.
And there he is. His quest begins today. It is Greg Ray in car number 1, emblematic of winning the title, which he did last year, the 1999 Indy Racing League champion. Never got into a car until he was 25 years old. 8 years later, he is among the very best, the fastest qualifier, and he'll lead this field of 33 down a straightaway that is 5/8 of a mile long. And into the very first turn, a 2.5-mile track here in Indianapolis, 200 laps. And the crowd is getting ready right now because that roar is about to come up. And the command will be given by the daughter of Tony Holman and the mother of Tony George. And she will be introduced by the public address announcer here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Jim Philippi.
Well, as many as you race fans can see, this is a very, very busy area right now with cameras and mics all in place, waiting for the command to start the running of the 84th Indy 500. And here to give those words is the chairman of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Board, Mrs. Mary Holman George.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
The 2 ladies and the 31 gentlemen have started their engines. The race is at hand. We go to Jack Arute.
Al, Greg Ray made believe in talismans. Over the years, his now 6-year-old son, Winston, has always given Greg a lucky charm. Last year was a wristwatch that was for Buzz Lightyear. This year, Greg Ray's wife, Winston's mom, went to the store and they picked out a little green rock. Greg carries it in his pocket in the cockpit. It says, "Make it happen." Jerry?
And Chip Ganassi, your driver in the middle of row 1, they call him Wide Open Juan Montoya. Any concerned about the start?
Not at all, Jerry. I mean, he's shown he's a champion last year. He's taken this place no problem. I've said it before. He's as cool as a cucumber at the start.
Is this place as special as you remember it, Chip, 5 years ago?
Without a doubt. Listen to that crowd. It's very special.
Lots of excitement. Vince Welch.
Sarah Fisher has 3 main goals today. Finish on the lead lap. Stay on the lead lap. Make sure you go the distance. And the third one, clean pit stops. If her team has the clean pit stops, finishes on the lead lap, and of course finishes the race, she believes it's a top 10 finish. The question, stamina. Sarah Fisher has never run a race more than 200 miles. Al Michaels?
Vince, very few things in the world of sport, not just in America but anywhere, that can compare to the start of the Indianapolis 500. We're ready for it. Let's go upstairs to Bob Jenkins.
Well, 2 days of time trials have called the field of the fastest 33. Here they are on row number 1, the Battle of the Champions, the Indy Racing League Northern Lights Series champion Greg Ray and the Kart Series champion Juan Montoya. In row number 2, Scott Sharp in the middle there. He had a clutch problem in the final practice on Thursday. In the third row, outside there, is Robbie Buell, who came from 32nd to finish 6th here a year ago. Back in row number 4 on the inside is Eddie Cheever, who won this race back in 1998. Row number 5, starting in 13th position, is Scott Goodyear, twice a runner-up in this event. In the 6th row, 2 former winners and a rookie. Back in row number 7, we have 2 rookies and a seasoned veteran, the veteran being Stephen Gregoire. In row number 8, the middle of that row, is Richie Hearn. He ran 3rd in the 1996 Indianapolis 500. In row number 9 on the outside, Steve Knapp, who ran 3rd as a rookie here 2 years ago. In row number 10 on the inside is Davey Hamilton, the only driver to start all 33 Indy Racing Northern Lights Series event. And in the last row, Billy Boat, Lynn St. James, and Andy Hillenberg. Lynn St. James makes her 7th Indianapolis 500 start here today. Well, the cars now beginning to make their way down the backstretch. They will go 3 times around, and just sitting in the grandstand before the start of the 500 is a thrill for most. I can't imagine what it's like for our Leslie Goodell, who's in one of the 2001 Oldsmobile Aurora pace cars. What's it like, Leslie?
Bob, to say this is unbelievable would be an understatement. To see nearly 500,000 people on their feet anticipating the start of this race, there's a tremendous sense of excitement that's been building all day. You can literally feel the adrenaline rising. Looking down the front straight as we come around the 4th turn, it's a lot different than what I saw 2 days ago when I drove around an empty speedway. It's like the track suddenly shrunk. It looks very narrow right now. What else is amazing is we're just getting over 65 miles per hour. They'll be traveling at over 200 miles per hour very shortly. This is unbelievable, and it's obvious this is the calm before the storm.
And let's hope the weather-type storms stay away for just 3 more hours. Some of the stories we'll watch today. Indy Racing Northern Lights Series champ Greg Ray against Juan Montoya. Al Unser's first Indy since '94. Sarah Fisher, 19 years old in her first 500. And A.J. Foyt's 3 drivers. He was the winning car owner last year. Perhaps the most vulnerable car part, the gearbox, especially on restarts and coming out of the pit area. Now the cars come down the main straightaway 2 more times around and we'll get the green flag. Al Unser Jr. was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but calls Indianapolis his home. Tom Sneva, let's talk with him in his car.
Al Unser Jr., Tom Sneva in the booth. First of all, welcome back. And second of all, obviously, your thoughts this close to your first start in the last 6 years.
Well, Tom, it's good to hear from you, and I tell you what, I have missed this place so much. To drive around here and see all these people here, this is what it's all about right here. And I just hope we have a good, safe start, and hopefully we can get the 500 miles in.
Have a great race, Al. Good luck.
Thank you.
Do all teams have the same race strategy? Let's find out from our pit reporters. First to Jack Arute.
And Bob, the pit strategy has actually unfolded a little bit differently because of the weather. You could hear it in Al Jr.'s voice. They hoped for 500 miles. Earlier yesterday, they let us sit in on the session. They said they were going to try and make every pit stop under yellow, not get out of sequence with the drivers and not with the other drivers, and not go racing until the final 100 miles. Just about 30 minutes ago, they changed that. They're going to try and carve their way to the front early, Jerry.
And Eddie Cheever had the same philosophy, try to ride for 100 laps and then race the second 100 laps, but not going to happen. They're going to change it now. Cheever's going to go to the front because of the impending weather. Bob?
Well, the drivers have been surrounded by the fans and media the last 2 weeks. As they come down for the pace lap, we're wondering what they're thinking about. They're now all alone in their cars. And we wonder what their thoughts are a lap away from the green flag.
As you come around the 4th turn, you see the sea of people. The hair stands up on the back of your neck and you get ready for that green flag.
It's like the gun going off for the marathon. It's time to start the endurance race.
Watch out for the wrecks.
Anticipation, concentration, looking forward for the win.
Hang on, be careful, stay on the track.
I just want to feel and see everything.
and let my brain absorb it all.
You're just waiting for the green flag. You're waiting on the radio for them to tell you go, go, go.
Where to move, where to go, who you're going to pass.
It's time to empty your thoughts, empty your mind.
Excited, a little bit nervous, aggressive, but mostly very focused.
As the pole sitter, I'm not worried about leading the first lap. I'm worried about leading the last lap.
Now the field begins to form in their three abreast formation down the backstretch. Tom, Ari, both of you have been in this position. What are your final thoughts a half a lap from the green flag?
Well, again, you hope you've talked to your dance partners. The dance floor is going to get crowded coming down that front straightaway. And again, everybody's looking for a smooth start. They've had to modify their strategy, and because of the rain.
I think guys right now are thinking a little bit different than normal. I think they're anticipating maybe a shorter race, so they're all going to be just a little bit more aggressive on the start. So let's look for this one to be a little bit different.
All right, as they move out of turn number 4 now, Eliseo Salazar moves to his outside position in the front row. The field moves on to the main straightaway. They come down, and Howard Katz, the president of ABC Sports, waves the green flag, and the 84th Indianapolis 500 is underway.
Look at Robbie Gordon on the inside of his teammate.
And he gives way to his teammate, Greg Ray, who moves into the lead as they go through corner number 2. But Robbie Gordon with a very, very aggressive move at the drop of the green flag. Looks like all the field moving through turn number 2 now, and they come down the backstretch for the first time. And the battle is for second position as Montoya gets second spot now.
Well, there might be some inter-squad talking on those radios between those two teammates here.
Yeah, Robbie Gordon got on the inside there, but got quite a little bit squirrely. That could have been more than just getting through the first turn safely.
Robbie got a good jump. They're supposed to keep 100-foot intervals between the lines, and obviously Robbie was going to the front in a hurry.
That's Jeff Ward taking the position from Mark Dismore as they go into turn number 1. This is the third straight Indianapolis 500 that Greg Ray has led. He came into this event having led 50 laps here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
That in car was of Dismore. That was inside Dismore's car that we had that quick shot of.
And the field is very close here. As you can see, we can have all the cars in one shot here, but at the start of the race it looked like it was stretched out quite a bit. There was more than 100 feet between those rows.
There really was. Obviously coming through turn 4, they scrambled to try to get lined up, but Robbie Gordon scrambled the hardest.
On a very safe start nevertheless, and that lap 213.2 miles an hour for the leader. Second place, Montoya was a little bit quicker at 213.4. That's Eliseo Salazar running in 4th position behind Robbie Gordon. Jeff Ward is 5th, and Sharp is in 6th spot.
Well, Montoya did a nice job at the start. A lot of people concerned about the rookie in the front row, but this kid's got some talent and used his head on that start.
Oh, for sure. He's been using his experience, obviously, that he acquired last year in kart, and being a champion there doesn't really qualify him as a rookie anymore, but this is his first race here, so we'll label him that way now, but certainly not as a driver in the cockpit.
And the interval is just about a second between first and second position. There is Gordon, Eliseo Salazar 4th, then comes Jeff Ward. 215.4, the best lap, and that was turned in by Juan Montoya. So he's the fastest car on the racetrack at the moment, but still is running in second position. We're on board with Jeff Ward, who runs in 5th spot, about 5.6 seconds behind Greg Ray up ahead.
But yeah, the drivers are just trying to settle in now. They're trying to get a pace. They're trying to get a feel of what the car's giving them, what the balance is, and they'll be either moving sway bar adjusters or changing the weight from the left front to the right front, just trying to balance the car and feel the track conditions because of the rain. And Thursday was the last day they were on the racetrack, so things have changed, Ari.
And it's a long time ago I've seen the whole field actually be that close together as they come down the front straight going into turn 1 and 2. The whole field is really close together still, and we're going to look at an exciting and close race here.
10th and 11th right here. Robbie Buell, followed closely by last year's Rookie of the Year here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Robbie McGee.
Robbie McGee is holding his position. He started 12th. Right now in 11th place. He's just filling his car out. And these guys, after about 10 laps, will give their crews an idea of what their car is doing. The crews will take notes and then the driver will come back another 10 laps later, and he'll keep track of what he's saying.
There you see some drivers who have gained some spots here in the first 5 laps of the race. Eddie Cheever has gained 3. Ayrton Dare has gained 4 positions. There once again the interval between first and second, and Jack Arute has an update on the leader, Greg Ray.
Well, when Robbie Gordon made that move on his teammate, Greg Ray remained silent on the radio. Then the lap after that, Thomas Knapp came on very calmly and said, Greg, find a gear and find a rhythm. Rhythm right now, guys, is the most important thing, and they like the way Greg Ray is setting the rhythm right now.
Well, again, Knapp was telling him to find a gear. Some of the cars are running actually 3 top gears, 3 high gears, depending on the traffic situation. Now, a lot of the teams are only running 2 high gears because of a reliability problem. So this will be something that we're going to have to follow as the race develops.
As they start the race on a full fuel load, they will start in 4th gear and then start hitting the rev limiter, immediately go 5th gear, and then the 6th gear is kind of a cruise gear to save gas. But Montoya's closing in.
Just about complete 7 laps here in the 84th Indianapolis 500. It's Greg Ray, Juan Montoya, and Robbie Gordon back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
It's the second test. England, having smashed their way to their biggest test victory in 26 years with a stunning display of bowling and batting, will be looking to continue their form. While Zimbabwe will want to deliver a vastly improved performance to avoid a whitewash. And the team who won the Royal Television Society Sports Award for Innovation this month now bring you interactive cricket coverage. The second test, England v Zimbabwe, Thursday 10:30 on Sky Sports 1 and...
Everyone on the floor! Stop! This bank is not ready yet. You can't rush these things, you know, like you can't rush making Grolsch. It's brewed longer for a fuller taste, and it's only released when it's ready. Grolsch, we only let you drink it when it's ready.
The new Halifax Web Saver is a unique way to save online. So whether you're saving for a holiday, a new car, or your children's future, WebSaver gives you an unbeatable range of internet savings options, so you can get our best rates online.
Oh, it's just one of Dad's jokes. Oh.
Welcome to your world, from 1 to 1.
11, 12, 13. Excuse me, sir, did you find a wedge around here?
In MySAP.com's internet marketplace, different companies come together to help you get things done.
Well, let me have that Pass Saver wedge, please.
How about choking down on a 9-iron, Gary?
No, I think it's that Pass Saver wedge, I really do.
And that's good news.
That's the kind.
When you need to replace a Gary Player designed wedge, for Gary Player.
Welcome back. The Indianapolis 500 is underway at the Indiana Speedway. Now then, just a quick reminder for you at home, we will be switching at 9 o'clock to Sky Sports 1 to continue the coverage right the way through to the end of this race. Because of the 3-hour delay in the start, that means we have to switch channels because the one you're on at the moment goes off at midnight. Quickly then, while we're in studio here, Ben Collins, tactics already. Juan Pablo Montoya, you had a bit of a theory regarding him in second place at the moment, didn't you?
Yeah, he looks very happy, sort of holding a gap of about a second, and he got to within 0.7 and then backed off, and it looks like he could well be running a sort of low fuel mixture, so he's leaned it out quite a lot. He can just run, you know, save his fuel and use the slipstream to keep the speed up and stay with Greg Ray.
So Greg Ray basically is towing him round and doing Montoya a whole load of favour.
Yeah.
So he's not quite the madman we thought. He's absolutely on the case. He knows exactly what he's doing tactically, and we can cross now to the commentators who know exactly what's going on as well.
He's moved, he closed in on him, he almost passed him, and then he had to back off a little bit. And right behind this group is a second group of Sarah Fisher and Jason Leffler, those two rookies fighting it out for the next two positions.
Dare was leading at Las Vegas when his gearbox failed. Alonso Jr. went on to win. There is Sarah Fisher, who is shown in the 20th position. Right ahead of her is Jason Leffler.
Well, Sarah might be a little faster than Leffler now, but she's just trying to learn some things here. Feel what the car's like when it's in that dirty air, the turbulent air that we experience when the race happens.
That's right. I mean, here we are in the first 20 laps of her life in the Speedway, and I bet you the last 20 laps she'll know a lot more than right now.
As the schooling continues on Sarah Fisher, she's been told by Derek Walker to set a steady pace and go nice and easy. Meanwhile, up front, you talked about the fact that about now teams will start to get reports on what the cars are doing. That's the case with Greg Ray.
Well, a great battle for the lead as Juan Montoya tries to get around. Greg Ray got bottled up behind Lynn St. James, and now Robbie Gordon goes to second position. Robbie Gordon passes Juan Montoya here on the main straightaway and goes into second spot, and now maybe he can do what he wanted to do on lap number 1 when they dropped the green flag, and that is take the lead.
And that's a typical example of when you go for a guy in front of you, then you get cut off, you lose all your momentum, then the guy behind you just drives right by you, and that happened to Montoya.
Well, again, traffic and momentum, Ari, this year with the little smaller motors, right there. Robbie had a run. Look how it lost the nose.
Montoya goes back into second as Robbie Gordon had to lift because of Lynn St. James, and that was all Montoya needed to take over second spot once again.
Well, Robbie had to lift because he got in that turbulent air, had to roll out of the front.
And now Salazar goes around Robbie Gordon, and Salazar moves to third.
That's how much momentum Robbie lost. He's lost 2 positions because Lynn St. James, I think her spotter forgot to tell her that the guys are coming up to lap her.
So that puts Gordon now back to 4th position, and boy, did he lose momentum. He was up there in a spot to battle for the lead, but now finds himself back in 4th as again the slower traffic tries to get around Lynn St. James. That's Jeff Ward there going into turn number 3 as he is in 5th position. Right behind him is Scott Sharp, then Cheever, Vassar, and Waddles completing the top 5 are on board with Jeff Ward.
And here we see them closing in pretty bad, pretty big on the guy in front of him because he got held up by the car in front of him. So there's Lynn St. James on your right, letting him go by.
I think Lynn rolled out of it there to let those guys go.
Yep, now she got it.
But it's just an example. We're going to see this all day, Bob, this momentum thing, the traffic situation. The motors are a little bit smaller. They've lost about 75 horsepower from last year's motors, and so the draft and momentum are going to be big key elements as this race develops.
Now on board with Scott Sharp as he also slides to the inside of St. James as they approach turn number 3. And now Eddie Cheever tries to do the same.
Eddie Cheever got held up a little bit by Lynn there, but now he's going to get her on the front straight, get in the draft right here. Car will get sucked in a little bit, and then he slingshots by into turn 1.
Well, the NHL Stanley Cup Finals begin on ESPN Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. It's New Jersey against Dallas. Coverage begins with the quest for the cup at 7:30. ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. And now Greg Ray puts a lap on Andy Hillenburg. Next Saturday at 8 o'clock, the game will be on in prime time on ABC as we follow the Stanley Cup right to its conclusion. Andy Hillenburg loses a lap here in the early going. We're on lap number 17. That's Hillenburg to the left, and here comes Juan Montoya down the front straightaway to also pass him by.
I think what's really helping Montoya here is that he's not leading this race. I'm not feeling like he's dominating this race. Right now, he's trying to stay with the leader, and he's learning a lot about drafting on the big speedway here.
Well, I think that's more the case. He knows, he uses his head for a young guy, and he's in a learning experience. He's feeling the car, he's feeling the track, the draft situation, and we're going to see a lot more of him as the day develops.
Down to Jackaroo.
And Bob, Greg Ray is reporting that the car is starting to develop a push as they run down the 35-gallon fuel load. And you can be sure that Greg Ray will make a change, probably in the stagger, in the first pit stop, which will come up in about 10 laps.
We will anticipate pit stops somewhere in the next 8, 9, 10 laps, as we have been under green all the way so far, and 18 laps have been completed. Greg Ray has just a couple of car lengths advantage on Juan Montoya as they come up to lap Steve Knapp at the end of the backstretch. Knapp driving one of the Infinity-powered cars, and Montoya and Knapp get very, very close in the third turn, but everything is okay.
Well, Juan had to pinch it, but he did get away with it, Bob.
Back with more live coverage here on ABC Sports in just a moment of the 84th running of the Indianapolis 500, delayed by rain, but we're underway now. 18 of 200 laps down.
May on Sky Premier and Sky Movie Max. Smile, please. Blade is something to get your teeth into. Whatever the result, he always liked to score. Best from Sky Pictures. Who is George Best? Blood is always thicker than water in Halloween H2O.
Michael Myers. Yeah, right.
Seconds out for conspiracy in Snake Eyes.
This woman is a suspect! He is!
Snake Eyes. There are no squares in the cube. It's horror to the power of 3.
There is no way out of here!
Why would they throw innocent people in here? Are we being punished?
And small comfort. These ants really can see the big picture.
What exactly is going on here?
So what else can I tell you?
May on Sky Premier and Sky Movie Max.
Greg Ray, the Indy Racing League champion, leads the Champ Card champion of Juan Pablo Montoya. That's how it looks at the Indianapolis 500. We are seeing live pictures from the Budweiser airship above us, and Ben Miller, perfect tactics still from Montoya.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. He's a bit raw in the traffic. He's getting quite close to some of the back markers are trying to get past, but he looks like he's got it under control. I think if he wants to catch Greg Ray, looks like he can reel him in about half a second a lap.
53-year-old Linton James caused a major problem in the opening laps. Really, she did look like she was a bit in the way there, Ben, without being too harsh.
Yeah, she looks a fair bit slower than the others in the corners. I don't know whether she's running more wing or she's just struggling with the car, but it's making it interesting anyway.
I thought that was very diplomatic of you in those particular circumstances, but the boys, they were breathing in at one case, trying to get past Linton James, but the leader still is Greg Ray from Juan Pablo Montoya. Huge crowd here on their feet. These are live pictures from the Indiana Raceway, and no clouds overhead, which is pretty handy. So looking down at the track from the Budweiser airship, Russell Bolgin, everything clean. It was a very clean start, wasn't it?
It was a very clean start, and also the race pace is pretty high. At the moment they're averaging 211 miles an hour, which given traffic, given they don't know the track conditions too well because of the rain, remarkably high speed this early in the race.
Well, you can see there the proposed Formula One racetrack on the infield. Of course, Formula One Grand Prix arrives here in September, and it's going to be one of the greatest races I think they've ever seen in the US. But right now we're with the Indianapolis 500 in the Indiana Raceway, and we can go back to trackside for our race commentators.
Back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway following Al Unser Jr., who is in 15th position. You see he started in 18th spot, dropped back one at the end of lap number 5, but has been on the move since then. And right now he's just behind Scott Goodyear in 15th.
Your next stagger is slightly smaller.
Yeah, half a turn.
That's Sarah Fisher, and she's talking about the cars probably pushing, and
I think that was Little Al, and he was asking for a half a turn of wing adjustment. That means the car is fairly close balanced, but they're also going to change the stagger. So both those things affect how the car handles.
There's Derek Walker and Sarah Fisher talking about that issue over there. And now we see traffic ahead of Greg Ray.
And that is Jared Schrader just ahead of Greg Ray. And you see how close first and second are. And again, they approach a huge amount of traffic.
And that's Montoya in the red car, Ray in the green car, and Montoya right on the back. But we got traffic in the short chute, which is really a tough place to try to make a pass. But
that was...
well, they did a nice job. He did a nice job of giving them room.
Russ Calkins got out of the way very nice, but Montoya is going to take advantage of Ray getting slowed up a little bit.
Outside pass. Oh.
Thought he was going to be able to do it at the end of the straightaway, but could not. And a little bit of a wiggle there in turn 1 by Juan Montoya, but he hangs in there right on the rear wing of Greg Ray, who's led all 25 laps so far, and now we approach the pit window.
Well, again, that was a pretty smart move. It's way too early in the race to try an outside pass in turn 1, Bob.
Well, Greg Ray actually moved over to the left and kind of blocked him a little bit, and kind of made the track, made his car a little wide for him to go either way. So, but there's a lot of traffic ahead of them, and something's going to happen here pretty soon.
Well, look at the traffic. I mean, this is going to get good here in a minute.
And that's because we haven't had a yellow yet. It has been a great, safe race.
Oh, look at this. Montoya way down on the inside. They're 4 abreast, and he's got the lead.
And now Greg Ray is being pinched off by that white car right in front of him.
Well, he's going to lose a bunch of momentum right here because he had to wait to go through the short chute before he could make the pass.
And so Juan Montoya now stretches out the advantage as Greg Ray is hung up behind Jacques Lazier. And he now goes to the outside of the racetrack and will make the pass. And meanwhile, Montoya still has a bunch of traffic up ahead of him.
And we've seen it earlier where traffic is going to play a big role in this race. But at the end of the race, don't forget, you usually don't have as much traffic around as in the beginning.
Well, the cars are a lot more reliable now, and so we might have this kind of traffic late in the race.
And now Ray takes a shot again at the lead and gets it going into turn 1. A terrific two-car battle for the lead here as Greg Ray retakes the top position, but Montoya has become the 169th different driver to lead the Indianapolis 500. It's exactly what we thought it would be, a battle between the IRL champion Greg Ray and the kart champion Juan Montoya.
He's coming back at him right there.
And again, Montoya wants it and gets it in 3.
I mean, this is great stuff. These guys want a piece of each other, Bob.
And you know what's so cool about this is that both are making no mistakes. You know, Greg Ray gave him the room at the very last moment, gave him the room to go into turn 3.
And Greg Ray comes in right now. Greg Ray comes in. We heard Montoya say he'd be in 2 laps. Greg Ray, with an 80-mile-an-hour speed limit on pit road, comes down for his first pit stop, and it's under the green flag.
And Bob, watch the crewman that goes to the left front. There's a small wing adjuster, and that's the change that they are going to make on the nose of the car to try and make the car a little less pushy. First, they will put the tires on. 6 men are allowed over the wall. There's the turn. Making an adjustment instead of going to stagger. What they're trying to do is make a little bit more noise, and he almost killed the motor. Didn't have it in gear. Let's go now and take a look at Little Al.
Al Unser Jr. is also in for his pit stop. Work being completed here, and Juan Montoya now comes down for his pit stop on the 29th lap of the race.
2 more, we're stopping.
You saw him take a tear-off off. He's so busy on the racetrack, he had to get in the pit lane until he could clear his face mask.
Well, it's kind of hard when you're doing 220 miles an hour on the straightaway to tear that thing off. Sometimes the wind catches your hand, so it's better to do in the pit. But we heard Skip Fall of Treadway Racing also saying in 2 laps. So again, Treadway Racing looking at good fuel mileage for Robbie McGee.
Target Chip Ganassi team has completed its work, and Juan Montoya goes back in the race. Eliseo Salazar has also completed a pit stop, as we see several now on pit road, including Scott Goodyear. Well, at the conclusion of today's running of the 84th Indianapolis 500, time permitting, we'll bring you the conclusion of the Snapple Superstars. Stay with us for that.
It looked like Montoya's stop was a little cleaner than Greg Ray's, Bob.
Watching Salazar on Montoya, this is Jimmy Vasser, and Sarah Fisher is in the pits, but she has stalled the engine apparently and trying to get going, and it just won't go.
She has a problem getting it in neutral.
Well, again, this could be some of that gearbox stuff.
All clear behind, all clear. Out to the outside lane.
Well, a costly pit stop for Sarah Fisher, and again, just like you were talking about, Ari, earlier today, pit stops very definitely can decide the outcome of a race, as Jimmy Vasser now hits pit lane. You have to be down below 80 miles an hour, but by the time you get to that red and black barrel that you saw on the right.
What we see here is that Jimmy Vasser stretches fuel.
You're going to have to come around Dinsmore stuff. Come around Dinsmore stuff. Yellow hat Ricky.
That's Tom Anderson on the radio to Jimmy Vasser. But he has stretched.
That fuel and watch Ricky.
Watch Ricky is the guy who's going to give him the sign to leave the pit. Ricky's going to be his lookout guy. So he doesn't really have to pay attention to anything else but to this guy giving him the out.
It's clear. You're okay. You're clear.
Clean pit stop by Jimmy Vasser, who has competed 4 times here at Indianapolis. His best finish was 4th back in 1994. He stays on the warm-up lane and will blend with the traffic at the end of the second corner down into the backstretch. So 31 laps completed here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and green flag pit stops are being seen. And right now we are showing that Robbie McGee is the leader of the race, who has not pitted yet. We'll be back with more live coverage in just a moment from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Hope you're enjoying it, and we've got to say there's some fuel strategy already coming in. Ben, I'll come straight back to you. Jimmy Vasser there grabbing, what, 3 or 4 laps on Greg Ray, who came in first under green for fuel there. That is a massive advantage so early on in the race, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see how it's going to turn out until they've all come out of the pits again and they start racing, but you can see that they're pushing really hard to try and get the advantage while they had the light fuel load. There was a big scrap between Ray and Montoya. Both of them were desperate to put in some fast laps ahead of the other one before they stopped so that they'd come out in front. It's really good racing, so I think it's interesting to see who can come out first.
It'll all come out in the wash, I'm sure. Now, you're looking very concerned here, Christopher, at the moment. We saw 1 or 2 gearbox problems being mentioned in there again. I know you get on your soapbox when we get to gearboxes, so we might as well leave that one for you.
Yeah, no, I think that the British company Xtrax had rather a hard time off the American commentators all this season on this issue.
Indeed.
Saw a very interesting engineer's report on the last race. Generally, hate to say this in front of Ben, the reason why the gearboxes break at the pits is when someone drops it off the jacks at 10,000 RPM and tries and blasts it out of the pits. There is an element of driver error there, but anyway, it's an issue. We saw Sarah Fisher having some problem there. But the great thing is, hooray, we're racing, and let's not forget, we're over a quarter distance already to what could be the full length of the race. So everyone's pushing very hard.
I have to say, from my point of view, most gearbox companies know that you drop them off the jacks at 10,000 RPMs, and there's not a lot of gear changes going on in a race like this anyway. Russell even, as we go back to live pictures now. Greg Ray got himself out. I'm just trying to pick up who's where at this moment in time. Robbie Gordon found himself in a bit of trouble early on in this race as well, didn't he? He got a really strange kind of start, made it right under his teammate early on.
It looked for a moment as though Ray and Gordon were trying to work together to get ahead of Montoya and maybe have Gordon run defensively to hold off Montoya, but it didn't work out. You have to say at the moment Montoya looks like the strongest guy on the track.
Well, we're looking at live pictures now from Indianapolis, from the Indianapolis Raceway. Montoya, Gordon, Salazar, that is first, second and third. So Juan Pablo Montoya has the advantage after the pit stops over Robbie Gordon, and Eliseo Salazar there in third place. And don't forget, for those of you watching at home or in the pub or down the club or at the Corby Festival Theatre, we will be changing to Sky Sports 1 to continue our coverage of this Indianapolis race, because we have had a 3-hour delay on the start. We won't leave you. We will be seeing the end of this race, but it will be on Sky Sports 1. Now then, Ben, tactics as far as this race is concerned. It's been very clean, I've got to say. The whole race, we've seen some unbelievably close racing, frighteningly close racing, but quite clean.
Yeah, it looks pretty clean so far. I think that was a pretty aggressive scrap though, given it was just a fuel stop. I think come the 100 lap mark, they're going to be pushing really hard. They're all worried about the rain. I think that those 2 sprints, if they're not sure about it being the finish or not, they're going to fight hard at mid-race and at the end as well.
Well, we've seen some unbelievable racing between Montoya and Greg Ray. I'm sure we're going to see a bit more of that. We can cross back now to our trackside commentators.
Back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Eddie Cheever just took 4th position from Greg Ray. I'm Bob Jenkins, up here in the booth with me, 2-time Indy 500 winner Arie Luyendyk and 1983 winner Tom Sneva. 36 laps completed here at the Indy 500. We've had 4 different leaders so far. Buddy Lazier is one of the fastest, if not the fastest car on the racetrack. He now moves up to the 7th position, having just passed Jimmy Vasser.
That's one of the guys we had to look for in the beginning, and he's getting blocked a little bit by traffic ahead of him, and we might see Jimmy Vasser repass him again here because he's been held up.
Well, there you see the results of the pit stops. Montoya stayed in the lead. Greg Ray lost 3 positions. And Scott Sharp lost a bunch of positions. And
you saw Jimmy Vasser. He had a run on Lazier and everybody, but he thought better of it, getting into 1 and had to back out.
Lazier took the position of the car in front of him, and that's Jimmy Kite right there. And Lazier is moving up, as we thought in the beginning of the show. Eddie Cheever would. Now Cheever in 4th, and Lazier in 7th.
That was Jimmy Kite that he just passed by. Kite is a lap down, running in the 23rd position. There are 16 cars in the lead lap. Notice on your scoring rundown up in the upper left, the color of the car corresponds with the color in the little box. You can see that Donnie Beechler in 16th position is the last car on the lead lap at the moment.
And the thing about this race, Tom, is that it's so clean. We've seen some great racing. We haven't seen any contact. clean starts, clean, just everything, and it's going to be a fast race if it keeps on going like this.
Well, so far so good, but there's plenty of action. There's been plenty of close calls out there.
Oh yeah.
There's Eddie Cheever in the excited home, coming off corner number 4.
Eddie's actually one of the quickest cars in the corner right now.
And here he is closing in on the car in front of him. Salazar for position.
This is for the 3rd spot. Salazar holds him off for the moment. That last lap, Salazar ran a 2:08.6 and Cheever ran a 2:08.2. So very, very close in terms of speed. Let's see what happens here as they come down the backstretch.
Well, Eddie's got a good run.
He's got it going, and he's going to get him. And now he has to deal with traffic in front of him. Jason Leffler going into turn 3, right ahead of Eddie Cheever.
And so Cheever goes to 3rd, Salazar back to 4th. 4 leaders so far. Greg Ray 26 laps. Montoya has led 11. Robbie McGee led 2, and Jimmy Vasser has led 1 lap off the race.
Gordon has, however, closed in on Montoya by about 4 seconds since that last pit stop. Now Greg Ray is closing in on Salazar here, so it looks like the tables are being turned here. Salazar going backwards a little bit.
This is the battle for the 4th position. Salazar currently in 4th, being pursued by Greg Ray, the defending champion of the Indy Racing Northern Light Series, who has once again in the year 2000 gotten off to a rather slow start, but he did last year and turned it on at midseason to take the championship. The average speed after 100 miles is 206.039, and Ari Leyendijk holds the record for the fastest 500-mile race ever run at 185.981 back in 1990.
You heard him talk about use the traffic, gain some momentum.
That was Greg Ray on the radio. Has fallen back a little bit, but listening to his voice, he feels confident and knows that it's early in the race. No rush. Behind him, however, here is Jeff Ward closing in a little bit, and I think Jeff Ward's going to make a pass on Greg Ray.
He's gotten a good run off the 2nd corner down the long backstretch. He moves to the inside of Greg Ray, but Ray cannot get down far enough to block him, and indeed, Ward takes the 5th spot from Ray.
Well, you see Ward, though, he got in hot underneath the guy and lost the front end a little bit, but he was able to get it back down.
On board with Buddy Lazier, who is in 7th, right behind Greg.
Ray sounds comfortable, but he's getting passed here by Lazier. Just got passed by Jeff Ward, and now it looks like Lazier's knocking on the door.
Well, sometimes when they feel real comfortable, they're not going fast enough.
Yeah, you don't want to be too relaxed. You still got to keep the adrenaline going.
Juan Montoya with about a 5.5-second lead over Robbie Gordon. 42 laps completed in the Indy 500. Back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
A new campaign. The battle lines are drawn. Once more, the Super League title at stake. 12 teams, ruthless in their pursuit of victory. Who will have the courage, the power, and the will to be champion? Ultimately, there will be only one. The Blue Sox versus the Wildcats, Sunday at 5, live on Sky Sports 3.
On my count, 1, 2, 3.
This Thursday, the series finale and an intense conflict develops.
I didn't abandon him.
I got stabbed in the back twice with a 6-inch butcher knife. I'm in a lot of pain.
The demise of one of the ER's finest.
So you inject the fentanyl into your wrist?
What? Do you honestly think I'm a drug addict?
How will he react to the ultimatum they're about to give?
He's lying, Mark.
I know.
The series finale of ER, Thursday at 9:30, Sky 1.
The Indianapolis 500 continues, and we are looking down from the Budweiser airship. And I think the biggest problem that we can see on the track at the moment, gentlemen, here in the studio, Russell Bolgin, Christopher Tate and Ben Collins, is Greg Ray dropping back now. Ben, any particular problem that you saw there with the car?
I think he was slower in the pit stop that he made, and that dropped him back, I think, to about 4th. And after that, he seems to have been a bit unfortunate with the traffic, but he's apparently saying on the radio he's pretty happy, so I don't think it's going to cost him too much in the long run unless Montoya gets a real run, which he seems to be doing at the moment. But
we've seen a few roll bar adjustments and the like as well from on our onboard cameras as well, giving some indication of the track changing possibly between what they were used to and what they're getting right now.
The grip level looks like it's going up because the times their lap speeds are getting higher and higher. So it could be they're starting to get some understeer and dialing that out. That looks, from the steering angles and everything, looks like they're getting more grip at the rear. and they're dialing the cars in the roll bars to sort of suit that.
Just explain the technicalities behind that when the car's pushing uphill when you get to the turns. Just in layman's terms, give us a bit of insight into that.
Well, they call it, in America they call it push. It just means you need more steering locks, more steering input to make the car literally just turn round the corner. The front wheels aren't gripping enough. Or more in this case, it's because the rear is producing too much grip, so they'll adjust the roll bars, either soften the front or stiffen the rear to add grip by softening the front. So that'll give more grip to the front of the car, or stiffen the rear roll bar, which will take some grip away from the rear.
Well, we've talked about earlier on before we came on air that Greg Ray in the Dallara and Juan Montoya in the G-Force car. You reckon the G-Force car would be the one?
It looked that way in qualifying, but it's I think looking a lot more even now in the race, and Gordon is catching Montoya in a Dallara.
Well, we'll catch up with our racetrack commentators to find out.
Budweiser and the Bud One Airship are proud to provide these spectacular aerial shots to you today, live above the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in cloudy skies, but the rain is gone, thank goodness. Here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Juan Montoya has a 7-second advantage on Robbie Gordon. Third is Eddie Cheever. Now, you won't see this anyplace else, fans. This is the exclusive ABC Innovative Track Map. On the straightaway here, number 9, that is Montoya. You see the interval between himself and number 32, Eddie Gordon, to a second, and then Eddie Cheever back in turn number 3 is in third position. Well, on the racetrack, the good battle is for 8th position. Jimmy Vasser and Al Unser Jr. And Al Unser Jr. has moved up nicely here into the top 10.
That's Vasser in the red car, second in line, and Unser's the third car, the white and black car.
Right behind those two guys is Sarah Fisher, and right behind her is Robbie McGee, who's running in 10th place. But
well, these guys, this line should have a run on Vasser coming down the front straightaway.
33 to Montoya.
Looks like Sarah's trying to pass Al Jr. here.
She took a look, but
Al Jr. was running 18th or so before the pit stops. His pit crew again has vaulted him up into the top 10. And that's what you need around here. We spoke about that earlier in the show. Good pit stops, quick and timely. So far things are going according to plan over there.
Sarah Fisher had a bad pit stop that's dropped her a lap down in 23rd position. We're on board with Scott Goodyear, who's currently running in 13th position, also a lap down.
Well, we're not sure what happened to Scott, if he had a bad pit stop or what, because we know he's going to be towards the front before the race is over, but
with a lap down right now, that's a little bit of a problem, of course, but we're not there yet. If the leader goes out, then you could be back on the leader lap. It looks like Scott Goodyear is not happy with the car. He's not getting back on the throttle really quick. He has to turn in very gently. I suspect his car is a little bit loose.
Well, he's not having to turn the wheel very far there, so either they overcorrected it on the pit stop or he's been fighting that loose condition all day.
The Pennzoil Panther team won the Coors Pit Stop competition last Thursday, picking up $42,000, and they donated $5,000 immediately to the American Red Cross. So they get the work done in the pit area, but obviously Scott is having a bit of a problem with the handling of the race car.
Another driver with some problems with the race car right now is Eddie Cheever. It's handling very poorly in traffic, extremely loose. He slipped the spot from 3rd to 4th. Earlier was running very well. Said he felt like the car was losing a little bit of power, but the telemetry says the motor looks good. He had earlier ran his fastest lap, but says it's terrible in traffic. Dr. Jerry Punch.
And there's a little bit of concern in the Robbie Gordon pits about fuel mileage. Yes, I said fuel mileage. Remember a year ago, they pitted on lap 26 and believe they may have given up as much as 3 laps to the other lead cars. So they have told Robbie to ride in 6th gear and stretch it for a couple extra laps. They will not pit until lap 54. They were scheduled to come back on 52.
Salazar passing Lynn St. James at the end of the backstretch. Salazar again in 3rd, having passed Eddie Cheever just a few moments ago. Back in 5th is Jeff Ward, 6th is Buddy Lazier, then Ray, Vasser, Unser, and McGee, the top 10. Stan Waddles, you see in the yellow car, coming down pit road for another pit stop, and on the racetrack there is Stan Waddles coming to a stop. He was among the first to pit on the first sequence of pit stops and does so again.
And Eddie Cheever right now, a guy who says that he's really loose and really struggling out there, standing up in the seat. He's a guy hoping for a yellow because he doesn't want to drive the remainder of the stint to wait for his scheduled pit stop. And some drivers out there with bad handling cars are just hoping and praying for a yellow flag right now.
Well, what's interesting is that a lot of these guys didn't make a very big adjustment on that first stop. We just saw a half a turn or so. Usually that means the cars, they're pretty happy with the car, but if they turn the wing...
And with all the rain out there, now the cars are different. The track is getting some more rubber on it, so conditions are changing, and teams, as you said, Tom, have to adapt to these conditions. But the driver, in the meantime, has to keep the thing off the fence. And Jeff Ward is closing in big time on Eddie right now.
And as you know, Ari, it's if you're going to have the balance off, you'd rather have a little understeer than have the back end be loose on you.
Oh, yep.
See what Jeff Ward can do, if anything, with Cheever up ahead. They approach the end of the long backstretch and begin the turn down into turn number 3. Ward gains a few feet, but is not in position to try to take the position right now. Maybe he will as they come off the 4th corner and down the main straightaway.
In fact, Jeff Ward was pushing a little bit coming off 4 and had to get out of the throttle a little bit and lost his speed coming onto the straight and couldn't make the pass on Eddie.
Well, it's so tough. You've got to time that. You got to time your momentum just right. If you get too close to him on the exit of the corner, you'll lose the nose just as you get to the wall. You got to roll out of the throttle and lose that momentum.
And you got to roll out of the throttle real gently, otherwise the back end will snap around you because you have your steering turned to the left so much. And now Buddy Lazier
look at this
advantage.
run. Look at the run he's got.
And he passes Andy Hillenberg and also passes Jeff Ward, and so move Buddy Lazier up to the 5th position, taking 5th from Jeff Ward.
And Jeff Ward was held up by Andy Hillenberg on that occasion there, and that's what gave Buddy Lazier the chance to run up in his draft and pass him.
Well,
and Robbie Gordon is in the pits.
Robbie Gordon in the pits. They will make not a single adjustment on the car. Robbie says the car is, I quote, perfect. They are very concerned about having pitted early, though. They have him running in 6th gear to save fuel. They get it completely full of fuel. Gordon now gets it in gear and is away.
Restart fuel. Use your clutch. Restart fuel and use your clutch.
Robbie Gordon.
Don't know what he means by use your clutch. He might have a clutch problem.
Gordon almost won the race last year, running out of fuel late. He finished in 4th position and has had a couple of other 5th place finishes here at Indy in 94 and in 95. So he makes his 2nd pit stop at the conclusion of lap number 55. And Montoya now has a 21-second lead on Eliseo Salazar, and Eddie Cheever 24 seconds behind. More in a moment from Indianapolis.
Montoya, Salazar, Cheever, that is the top 3 at the moment. So Robbie Gordon already having to pit and going a little bit early this time round. And again, I'll come back to Ben Collins here in the Sky Sports studio. Ben, Robbie Gordon was looking pretty good, but that was a fairly early pit this time round. But there's a lot of sorting out to do, isn't there, in this race?
I think so. I mean, it's hard to sort of see what fuel strategies they're trying to achieve there. And with Gordon coming in that early, I don't really understand what his plan is, unless he's hoping to run for a very long time. He may have planned it so he can run to the 100-lap mark quite easily or past that.
But it moves Eddie Cheever, the 98 winner, Russell Bolgin, right up in there again now.
Cheever's looking good, and don't forget that he's also one of the only 2 drivers in the field using the Infiniti engine rather than the Aurora engine. And the Infiniti's been less reliable than the Aurora, but it certainly doesn't seem to lack much power, does it? I mean, it's as competitive as anything else out there at the moment.
Christopher, I remember you saying that Juan Pablo Montoya was your man, I think. Eliseo, that was it. Salazar.
Yeah, and he's running really strong. I mean, I'm really pleased to see that. The thing I'm really intrigued by is how well Buddy Lazier's running in actual race position terms, given the fact he seems to be in a pig of a handling car. We keep on having the onboard shot with him and he's hacking it all over the place, but he's doing a good job and he's pushing up through the field. Yep, but I'm pleased with Eliseo's performance up there in 2nd place. Montoya's just running away at the moment.
If you've only just joined us, you are watching the 84th running of the Indianapolis 500 from the Indianapolis Raceway. A huge crowd here. These are live pictures. We had a 3-hour late start, so you've joined us for the best bits. At 9 o'clock, for those of you watching, we will be switching to Sky Sports 1. That's so we can bring you the entire race and the celebrations at the end of it without having to switch channels right at the end. So at 9 o'clock, that is in some 6 minutes time, we'll be switching to Sky Sports 1 to continue our coverage of the Indianapolis 500. Ben Miller, we've seen already some strategy going on down there. Any particular driver that stands out for you at this stage of the race?
Montoya is massively impressive, and the rest of them are in the race of their own. They're all fairly close, but he's got a 20-second gap already, which looks, you know, pretty serious. So if he's a bit more careful than he has been in the traffic, it looks like it's going to be hard to catch.
Well, a correction there, of course, for me. Ben Miller is not your name. Ben Collins it is. My sincere apologies to you, of course. You can give me a slap the next time I do it.
That's all right, Dave.
And apologies to Ben Miller on Ben Collins' behalf as well. So we look down from the Budweiser airship, and oh, well, no, we don't. Yes, we do. So we get a good view there of the new Formula One racetrack that's being carved out here for the September Formula One race. And no doubt that'll be a big one in America. But right now we can rejoin the big ones in the commentary box for continued commentary.
Pit stops being made here at Indianapolis. Eddie Cheever is in, and just ahead of him is Greg Ray. The work on Cheever's car just about finished. Indeed, the car goes down from the jacks and he rolls away. Greg Ray remains on pit road for the moment. You see the sticker tires there on Eddie Cheever as he comes down pit lane. And Greg Ray has also completed his second green flag pit stop and is rolling once again. Other cars in include Scott Goodyear and Davey Hamilton.
Bob, as far as Eddie Cheever was concerned, the car's still extremely loose in traffic. They took a front wing out, says he wants to just get it comfortable. He's out there just turning laps in sixth gear. Feels like the car is good enough, but it's not as comfortable as he would like it.
Well, hopefully this adjustment has made an improvement to the car for him, because at the rate this race is going, as we were talking about earlier.
Scott Sharp is in the pits. He gives up his 5th position to make his second pit stop. Crew changing tires, filling it with fuel, waiting for the fuel to be topped off.
No wing adjustments on that car, so he might be happy with his car, although they might have made a tire pressure change or a stagger change. We don't know that.
And he's rolling. There is Juan Montoya, the leader of the race, and now he comes into the pit area for his pit stop.
He has to slow down to 80 miles an hour.
And remember, you can hear the gearbox coming up through the shifter. They're telling Montoya to slow down. He doesn't have the same sort of brakes that he has on his kart card. It almost makes his mark. Nominal stop. Chip Ganassi continues to tell him that things are good, that he's having a good run.
You ready?
He has a problem with his visor, though. It is very oily. He asked for a rag. They said, we'll give it to you the next time. That was a 10.9-second stop.
Well, you could see him signal to the crew with his hand that he was having a vision problem. So either he's gotten rid of all of his tear-offs already, Bob, and he's got some oil on that shield.
And with his pit stop, he gives the lead to his teammate, Jimmy Vasser. And this is the second time that Vasser has led this afternoon.
And he took it off right after, as he was coming in the pit for his first pit stop, he already took one off, which is pretty quick because he wasn't really driving behind a lot of other cars. So there must have been some oil coming from Greg Ray, who was ahead of him at the time, and that was about the only car ahead of him, right?
Yeah, early, but you know how it is early in the race. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Okay, you got the pylon. You got George is waving at you. Ricky's waving at you. You got to come around Dinsmore stuff.
Jimmy Vasser, the race leader, then comes down pit lane, and there are some massive changes now, and we have a massive change now as well. We switch to Sky Sports 1. Our coverage will continue of the Indianapolis 500 on Sky Sports 1, so get ready with your button to switch over in a moment. That is Jimmy Vasser in pit lane. That was a very quick pit for him, and out goes Vasser. Teammate Montoya has been in and out. This is the Indianapolis 500 live from the Indianapolis Raceway in Indiana, and we will continue our coverage on Sky Sports 1 in just a few moments. There it is then, the 84th Indianapolis 500 continues on Sky Sports 1, and we'll go right to the conclusion of this race, the 84th running of this particular meeting. We're crossing over now, so should you. See you in Sky Sports 1 for the continuation of the race.
You ever kill anybody?
Introducing the next generation of air travel.
I have found peace, free from the daily pursuit of gain. Mind pure, body cleansed. I fear nothing but the night, for the night brings sports cars. A roadster, the yin of performance, the yang of design. Oh, mama!
The new Toyota MR2 Roadster.
Truly mobile. Vodafone can bring you entertainment, sport and news headlines direct to your phone. Let the world come to you. Vodafone. You are here.
Neil, lawnmowers.
With over 40 lawnmowers from $34.99.
Awesome!
Homebase have everything you'll need this summer.
Is there a problem, officer?
I'm afraid there is, sir.
I wasn't speeding, was I?
No, sir. It's a little bit more serious than that, I'm afraid.
Well, what is it?
It's my gas supply.
What?
I just wanted to ask your advice.
OK, so worrying about your gas supplier isn't the most important thing in life. But you do have a choice. That's why at Empower, we're always working to lower your bills.
This is Sky Sports 1 Live.
This is the 84th Indianapolis 500 and we will be rejoining the race live in just a moment or two. Here in the studio are Russell Bolgin, Christopher Tate and Ben Collins. We've been talking our way through, well, I think the preliminaries of this race. We can go back to the racetrack in a moment for live coverage, and at the moment it is Montoya who leads, Juan Pablo Montoya that leads. But while we were away in the switch of channels, coming to Sky Sports 1, this is what happened to the pole man. It is Greg Ray missing his front right wheel. Well, Tony Menard, maybe not a lucky man after all. He's been trying to win this race for something like 20 years, and you've got to say with his man on pole, Ben Collins, we might have expected Greg Ray to have had a bit more luck than that.
It would, yeah, it's a shame that he's gone out so early because I think he would have had a good race, you know, got back up at the front. It looks like from the damage, it looks like he's had contact somewhere. Doesn't look like something's fallen off.
Now then, we have a problem there as well. That's Al Unser. So Al Unser is in as well. Well, we were all looking here in the studio there intently at Al Unser to try and see what had happened to him. But little Al, I think, looks to me like he's out of this race at the moment. Now, we've got more and more coming from Indianapolis at the moment. But Greg Ray's disaster there, Russell, it really is a bit of a problem. I think we can see that fairly soon as well. So we'll get you to talk through that and come back in a minute. Now, Juan Pablo Montoya, despite all this carnage that's been going on in the last few minutes, still driving a brilliant race, isn't he? I mean, he's done everything right from the start. He followed race leader Greg Ray round to conserve fuel early on. His pit stops have been sharp as they can come. He's not put a foot wrong, has he, Ben? Not yet. It's a long race. Like Lyondike was doing something similar, I think, last year. Just got caught out by some traffic, and he wasn't being half as bold as Montoya's been with some of his passing manoeuvres. Probably people are getting used to him going past them by now, though, so he might get away with it. Christopher, Robbie Gordon, who I have to bring to... I was going to ruin his race, of course. He was my tip for the man because I was going for the NASCAR boy out there. He's looking pretty good, though, at the moment, isn't he?
He is looking strong, yes, and until we've established exactly what happened there to poor old Greg Ray, you've got to be interested in his future. Well, interesting you should say that, because, sorry to interrupt you there, we can take a look now at Greg Ray's incident, and maybe you can talk us through this, Ben, if you're watching this, please. Maybe you won't have to, because it's going to be obvious.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
so big understeer.
I think Greg Ray got it up on the We were talking about the front end pushing a little bit there, and I think that just pushed a fraction too much.
Yeah, it looks like a big slide from the front, and he's just not had enough steering to get it round there. It's for something that major, it looks like something may have even gone on the car, but it's hard to say. If he's come out the pits on cold tyres, that could explain it as well.
Once you're that far out of order, though, there's no getting it back, is there?
Not at the rate he seemed to be going off. There was no way he could recover that one, I don't think.
Russell, anything else that you've spotted in this race? You've been watching it intently, you've been playing with our computer. Race going according to plan as far as you're concerned?
There seems to be a big disparity between the people in the middle of the pack and the people at the back of the pack. There are some quite slow back markers at the back of the pack who aren't as attentive as they should be, and I think that could be a factor towards the end. You're going to have guys battling for the lead coming up to maybe 4 or 5 people right at the back of the field.
Well, we're looking down from the Budweiser airship at the moment. These are live pictures from the Indianapolis 500. We've had Greg Ray making his way down pit lane at the moment. He's out of this race, that's for certain, despite what his pit might think. And we can cross now back to our commentators at trackside for live commentary.
The Indianapolis 500 is under caution at the end of 69 laps here, with Juan Montoya leading over Robbie Gordon and Buddy Lazier. I'm Bob Jenkins, along with a couple of Indy 500 former winners, Tom Sneva and Arie Luyendyk. Under caution because of an accident involving Greg Ray, who hit the wall. Now, there's the stories that we talked about earlier. Greg Ray is out of the race, or at least back in the garage area getting fixed. Montoya leads. Al Unser Jr. is also back in the garage area. He ran over some debris. Sarah Fisher is in 24th position. A.J. Foyt's drivers are 4th, 5th, and 26th. And so far, no major gearbox problems that we know of. Well, the Stanley Cup is coming this coming week, and the first 2 games will be on ESPN on Tuesday and Thursday, and then Saturday night at 8 o'clock, ABC Sports presents New Jersey and Dallas. Now 2 teams share 1 goal. ABC's John Davidson answers your online questions live during the NHL Stanley Cup at abcsports.com, a part of Go Network. Down to Jack Arute.
And Bob, they continue to work on Greg Ray's Conseco car. Greg, what a disappointment.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We had a pretty good car we could run by ourselves, but in traffic our gears were too long, so we took some downforce out of the car on that second pit stop, and with the wind, I think a gust just caught me out in turn 2, and that's it.
The disappointment evident in his voice, Bob.
So they do some work on his car, and they're also doing work on Al Unser Jr.'s car. Leslie?
Bob, obviously working very quickly. They're changing the radiator, and they anticipate getting out on the track very quickly. Little Al got out of the car. He keeps peeking out to see when they're ready. He's ready to jump back in and get back out on the track.
While we're under caution and the track is being cleared of debris, we'll take another break and be back with more live coverage of the Indy 500.
It's the second test. England, having smashed their way to their biggest test victory in 26 years with a stunning display of bowling and batting, will be looking to continue their form. While Zimbabwe will want to deliver a vastly improved performance to avoid a whitewash. And the team who won the Royal Television Society Sports Award for Innovation this month now bring you interactive cricket coverage. The second test, England v Zimbabwe, Thursday 10:30 on Sky Sports 1 and Extra.
You want to get to the top next, and I've got the longest ladder. Think of me as a lubricant, oiling the cogs of your career, easing your path to the top. Stay close to me, Nicola, and nothing will get in your way.
Mummy! How far do you think he's got with Nicola?
Not very far at all. Join the fast workers. Business brains take Virgin trains.
At Comet, we're lowering the cost of using the internet. For just £20, you can now get a whole year's unmetered off-peak access with Liberty Surf.
That includes call charges and technical support. And there's absolutely nothing to pay for the next 12 months.
So, you can spend as long as you like surfing the web. Lowering the cost of the internet. That's Comet Sense.
You rejoin us for America's biggest race. It's the Indianapolis 500. Juan Pablo Montoya has an 8-second lead. We were under a caution. We are back racing right now. Now, in here in the studio at Sky Sports, Christopher Tate, Juan Pablo Montoya looking very, very strong indeed. He's not put a foot wrong. I've said that already. Have you seen any flaw in his performance so far?
It's looked very strong. He showed he's prepared to take the risk when it matters, diving his way through the back markers. He must be feeling encouraged to know that Greg Ray is out, however unfair that may seem. Sad to see a little Al's out as well, though they look to say that they're going to get the car back on track again. They say they're changing a radiator, and we've gotten that is one of the target cars in the wall.
Okay, well, as we look at action live down at trackside, we can now go back to our commentators for the action live again.
Second caution of the day just coming out. The safety truck arriving at the scene of Lyn St. James' accident, and here's Sarah Fisher, who's also stopped on the warm-up lane.
Both gals at once, Bob.
Looks like she has a problem on the right front, Tom. I don't know. Looks like that tire's a little bit flat.
Well, you can see the marking on the side pod, so we don't know if she got involved with Lyn or not.
I think she might have run over some debris, and 2 women are out of the field and 1 to go.
Well, again, you can see some marks on the side pod in this area, as well as the right front.
Tell the guys to get you back.
Here's what happened to Lyn St. James. Oh, they were 3 wide going into the corner.
Well, it looks like Lyn just sort of got booted out for whatever reason.
Sarah went on the inside of Lyn, but another car was on the inside of Sarah, and it just got too crowded. There was not enough room. Here we go.
Again, they were 3 wide. Well, Lyn's already in the wall. Sarah's in the gray, and she's going to take the right side of the car. Right rear first, then right front. So both the gals got into the gray in the same corner, Bob.
And
coincidence.
Apparently all over for Lyn St. James, definitely, and maybe also Sarah Fisher. Here's another look.
3 wide.
Down into
3
one.
Sarah.
3 wide going in the front.
Oh, there was contact right there.
Lyn and Sarah get together. Lyn in the orange car goes straight to the wall. Sarah gets a little farther through the corner, but she's obviously lost some of the handling when they touched and got up in the gray on the exit.
And it all happened because of the car on the inside, and we haven't determined ourselves yet who that is. Went on the inside of Sarah. It got crowded there.
So they'll try to get the Walker Cummins special back to the pit area and take a look at the damage and see if they can't get her back into the race. Sarah Fisher, that is.
Well, what's amazing, Bob, is the first time we've ever had 2 gals, and you know, they were able to find each other in the race.
Lyn St. James is out of the car and appears to be okay, but a second caution is waving over the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with 75 laps completed.
Well, Montoya there is the man that still leads, and you can see the yellow flag. Oh, that side, there you go, just there. We're under caution one more time. Technology, you know, it's amazing, isn't it? I'm reserving any kind of judgment on that. As you can see, I wouldn't want to appear to be hard on the ladies, but that to me, Ben, talking to you as a driver, obviously, it looked like Lyn St. James dropped it straight across the nose of Sarah Fisher there.
Yeah, big time. I mean, looked like Sarah had gone clean past her, actually, and just while she was doing that, she was, you know, she'd done the move completely, you know, seemed to be fair and square and well done before the corner, and Lyn's just turned in, you know, way too late.
Is there any situation in those circumstances where, you know, you're getting a lot of suction, there's a lot of air movement around those cars? I mean, is there a situation where Lyn St. James could have perhaps been sucked into the side, or am I just being a bit, trying to find an excuse for her?
If it's like that, I think I've been taking a lot more risks than I know about. It's, I don't think so.
We're not going to suck anybody in. Well, let's take a look at the incident again then, and Sarah Fisher seems, well, that's a little bit late, we picked that one up, and I tell you what, we're fairly lucky there, a bit of an indicator for the track men amongst us here. Christopher Tate, of course, there was a big bit of bodywork flying into the air there. Lucky the wind wasn't blowing due south, otherwise someone might have had a rather large souvenir, or been wearing a rather large souvenir. Lyn St. James then sparks her way to a slowing down lap, and unfortunately Sarah Fisher taken out as well. Big trouble all round. The girls are out. We can go back to track commentators. fact, it's back to us here in the studio. Well, we can go back to track commentary in a moment. Now, the girls are out of this race. Montoya is still well and truly out in front. Robbie Gordon's looking very, very good. The NASCAR man seems to be driving exceedingly well. His tactics seem pretty good. He was in the pits fairly early on under a green, but it's all okay now, Christopher.
Experience is what it's going to be about. And right at the top of the show, before all the rain delays, Russell was saying that Montoya is race sharp, and that's why we were rather surprised to see what looked like a Target car into the wall, but Lynn St James's car was a very similar orange to the red. At least that's my excuse. But it does show that as this race develops and goes on, Robbie Gordon with all his NASCAR experience, Montoya with all his kart experience, they're the people who are going to keep out of trouble, we hope.
Don't forget that Gordon also has got another race to do tonight. He wants to go and do the NASCAR race at Charlotte. So this is only the first race he's doing today. And the other interesting thing about the accident with the two women is Sarah Fisher made a wonderful attempt at trying to save the car. I mean, she put the right amount of lock on. She just couldn't scrub the speed off. I mean, I think she was completely innocent, but almost you could see that she's got a good degree of talent and some really good basic skills just in the way she tried to save the situation.
We were actually talking about Sarah Fisher earlier, and I asked the question more as a layman than anything, is Sarah Fisher a good driver? Does she seem to be shaping up in this particular class? And I think you said, Ben, that yes, she seems to be driving very, very well.
I think she's highly rated in the States. I mean, she's got the oval background, she's gone through the midgets and that kind of stuff. So it's all come pretty natural to her. She's done a lot of dirt track racing and whatever.
And she's still only 19. That must even make you seem...
Feel old, yeah.
Yeah, didn't want to bring it up myself, of course, being a senior partner out of this particular group. But it's a remarkable situation for a 19-year-old to have come on this well.
I think so. Being a young girl, 19 as well, it's pretty daunting to go to Indianapolis for the first time. I think she's done a great job until that happened. And like Russell said, I think she made a brilliant effort to save the car. Just very unlucky, to be taken out like that.
Okay, we heard the drivers talking about this could be a 101 lap race and a declared situation. The wind seems to be blowing the clouds miles away, so we'll assume at the moment this is going to be a 500 miler. We're going to be going right full distance, 200 laps. What's going to happen in this race now? I mean, what's the strategy? Ben, again, I come to you as a driver. I mean, what's happening on the track? Is the track cleaning up? Are the cars getting looser? What do you do as a race like this, at this kind of pace? What do you do to the car? What do you do mentally to yourself in these circumstances?
I think from what I can see of Montoya, he's pushing as hard as he needs to stay in front, and the speeds are still creeping up. It's just gone up to 120, I think, some of their lap times. So as it gets faster, they will have to start adjusting the cars.
Well, let's hear what's got to be said at trackside at the moment.
We've only seen a couple of replays, but it looked like she just got sandwiched between two cars and just not enough room for three cars on that piece of the racetrack.
Any assessment from the people in the spotters to the damage on the car?
It's certainly the right side's pretty heavily damaged, both the front and the rear, when she went into the wall. We can get the car back to the garage. We can have a better look at it then.
That's Rob Edwards. And at the impact, guys, she said, "I'm sorry, Derek Walker. I am sorry." He said, "Not to worry." Bob Jenkins?
Cleanup continues down between turns 1 and 2 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll be right back.
Enjoy a summer holiday from £199 for a family at Haven, where great family holidays are made. Call 0800 20 30 40.
Could you use 200 minutes of free call time?
Yeah, if I set them aside, the 200 free minutes to the internet.
I can stay on the phone longer and chat more freely and enjoy it.
Those extra minutes are going to make all the difference.
I know that I can afford to spend an extra 10-15 minutes, half an hour on the internet than I normally would.
Don't often get things for free, do you?
Less reason to worry. More reason to surf.
With 200 minutes free call time every month at local evening and weekend rates, millions of people are better off with BT Together.
Sign up now with NatWest.com and enjoy banking in the comfort of your own home. Thank you.
Travelstore.com have 1,000 flights to give away. Just book a business class flight before June the 7th and you'll get an economy flight to one of 12 European destinations absolutely free.
The old order passes away, and the new orders come.
The future
future foretold in an ancient scroll.
Angel's going to die?
To make way for a new order.
Loka, warrior of the underworld.
He that was first shall now be last. With connection to the Oracle severed. Angel has to fight this battle alone. The very gates of hell shall open. Don't miss the series finale of Angel, Friday at 9.
The Indianapolis 500 is still under a yellow flag. That's after the Sarah Fisher and Lynn St James coming together. And we're looking now at car 16. Davey Hamilton drifting down pit lane. That looks like that's a dead motor to me. So as we look at Hamilton Jr. pulling off the racetrack, we can come back to a bit of a Russell Bolgin theory here at the moment, of course, with the possibility of it being a shortened race or the win being declared at what is effectively half distance. Russell, you've got a bit of a theory on this, haven't you?
I just think that unlike a usual Indianapolis 500 where you pace yourself for 400 miles, what you do now is go like the clappers to at least lap 101 and see what the weather's going to do. So you want to be in the best position you possibly can by half distance, and that accounts for the frantic pace of the race.
Well, we can go back to trackside now and find out whether the commentators have got that strategy worked out.
Still under caution here at Indianapolis. Al Unser Jr. after a 13-minute and 58-second repair job to the radiator is back in the race. Here's a look at today's fastest laps presented by Centrum Performance. Eliseo Salazar is the fastest so far. That occurred on lap number 44 at 216.4 miles an hour. We see 3 drivers who have exceeded 216 here in the first 79 laps of the race. Well, Saturday International Soccer comes to ABC as Casey Kelly and a powerful U.S. team take on the South Africans in the first round of the U.S. Cup play. From RFK Stadium, it's the USA versus South Africa soccer at 4 o'clock Eastern Time on ABC. Let's go down to Leslie Goodell, who's with Lynn St. James.
Lynn St. James just left the hospital. Lynn, you're all right. That's the good news. Can you talk about what happened?
Well, I didn't have the best handling car. We've been working on it, and then we worked on it during that yellow, just prior to that. So, quite frankly, I mean, I was watching my mirrors a lot. When you don't have a good handling car, you got to watch your mirrors a lot, and was really trying to drive more of a defensive race at this point until we got our car working well. So to me, I'm not exactly even sure it was, but came down going into one and just took a gutsy move. I mean, I tried to not, I didn't come down, but saying, no, I didn't want to end up in the marbles. I got to be able to keep the race car on the racetrack. So I was surprised that somebody came down to actually try to make a pass there, because there wasn't enough of a run to get a clear run before you got to the entrance of the corner.
Lynn, thank you very much for your time. Jack Arute.
Well, Leslie, Owen Snyder calls the shots for the Infinity Power plant of Eddie Cheever. You pitted early. You're gambling on weather.
Well, we are. We let the weather kind of make that decision for us. We couldn't go to halfway right now. We had a yellow. Boy, yellows are hard to turn down. We made a couple changes on the car that would take a little longer on a green stop. So we wanted to go ahead and make a couple car changes, put a little more fuel in, get a bigger window up on everybody. We're looking at running Montoya down, so he's beating us a little bit on the fuel mileage, so that's what we're trying to do, is get caught up.
Remember, 101 laps makes it official, and they're going to gamble a little bit, Vince, but they also made a Wickerbill change.
Well, and Buddy Lazier's team gambling a little bit as well, too. They're paying close attention to Juan Montoya. If Montoya pits under this yellow, Lazier will pit under the yellow as well. Ron Himmelgarn also paying very close attention to the weather screen, realizing that potential bad weather could make this race a shorter event. We're 21 laps away from it being official. Right now, Lazier is running second. He wants to have an opportunity to move in front by lap 101. Jerry Punch?
And Jimmy Cott, you had a short event today. What happened to you?
We came in for a pit stop, and as I started to leave, I was kind of chugging a little bit in first gear, and it sounded a little funny, so I tried to catch second gear, and as soon as I let out on the clutch, it just locked up the rear tires. I guess the motor had locked up. Said we'd been losing a little bit of oil pressure. We're hoping it's maybe a filter or something, but this stuff happens. It's Indy. I mean, at least we can leave here with a race car and go on to Texas.
Jimmy Kite, early exit here at Indianapolis. Bob Jenkins?
Still under caution here at Indianapolis, as it appears the storm clouds are gathering. We go now to Robin Roberts with an update from our ABC Wide World of Sports studio in New York.
Well, judging by the clouds building over there, Russell Bolgin, you can sit back in your chair. obviously well advised. You've got a direct link to him upstairs, I think, with that one, because it does look like this blast for the post is going to happen come lap 100.
It's just interesting that the Cheever guys have worked it out, and they're running a very canny strategy. They can't beat Montoya on pace, but they can beat him with this longer stop to get the car right and get some more fuel in. It looks pretty good, whether the race goes to 101 or goes to the full distance. It looks like it's going to be a good race.
Looks pretty interesting too. We could be in for 2 races today. Obviously the one to the 100 lap distance and then the 200 lap distance. We'll have to wait and see. They're still under a yellow flag. You can see the cars. Are they about to come back around and under orders? We'll have to wait and find out in a moment or two. Juan Pablo Montoya, has he got the strategy, or has his team got the strategy to keep him in front at that crucial 101 lap distance? We'll have to find out as we get close to it. Ben, what's going through their mind at this point? I mean, it's been a hell of a day, hasn't it? I mean, they had a 3-hour delay, there was rain, they can see the storm clouds, their teams will be telling them what the prediction is and what they've got to do to try and hustle their stuff across the line at that half distance. I mean, it's a nightmare scenario for the drivers.
I think the ones at the front will only be thinking about how they can make their car quicker and how they can use their fuel to the best, you know, the best that they can. Especially the top 5, because it's actually, well, it will be fairly close in this restart. They'll be making the big sprint. There's guys making changes to the car in the pits, trying to be clever. But I think Montoya, who's been using, they've said there that he's using less fuel than anybody else, which means he's got an instant advantage. If he can just sit there at the front and cruise, he's going to have a fuel advantage.
Well, fuel advantage is something they'll be looking for, but I must say that it's somewhat confusing always at this stage of a long distance race like this, Christopher, to work out exactly who's on what strategy. I must say the American pit lane coverage is very, very good again, but even they can't double guess and the teams aren't going to say on air what their strategy is, so we're all guessing basically, except the teams.
Looks like we're getting ready to go green again quite soon. This has been a very long yellow. Of course, it's the same for everybody. That again means everyone's got to recalculate their fuel strategy.
Well, we've got another lap to go just yet, haven't we?
But you're right that normally this point in the Indy 500, sort of lap 75 to lap 150 or so, is something of a fallow period, Keith, you know, with people not trying to do too many things.
Well, we're looking at the racetrack right now. You can see the clouds in the distance. They're under yellow. We can go right back to our race commentators at trackside.
On pit road. Buddy Lazier has just made a pit stop and goes back out onto the racetrack as we are nearing the end of this caution period. So he ran as many laps as he could under the caution and then came in to get topped off. We're on board with Mark Dismore here, who is in 10th place, but he is a lap down to the field.
Well, what we're seeing, Bob, is some of the leaders have made a pit stop already. Montoya's leading, but he hasn't made a pit stop, so it'll be interesting to see if he takes advantage of this yellow.
They have one more lap before green, and I think that move by Buddy Lazier is going to be very significant later.
Down to Jackaroo.
Well, let's ask Chip Ganassi, why didn't you call Montoya in this time by, Chip?
Jack, we just pitted about 6 laps before the yellow, so we really didn't burn down much fuel. So
even I can do the math on that one, guys.
Well, the Ganassi drivers are running first and second at the moment. Montoya, Vassar, then Robbie McGee, Dare. There's Ayrton Dare right there in that purple and yellow car. He's done an outstanding job running in the 4th position. He started back in 20th. Salazar is 5th, followed by Ward, Gordon, Cheever, Lazier. Those are the 9 cars on the lead lap, and Dismore, as we said, is in 10th, 1 lap down. And they will come down to get the signal of 1 more lap to go.
Well, Bob, we showed the graphic where Salazar has actually had the fastest lap. Some of that could be the leader is out by himself. He doesn't have the chance to draft off anybody. So these guys in the back of the pack can pick up the draft, and that may be some of the reason Salazar hasn't led, but he's had the fastest lap.
We have a new procedure this year. You notice that the pace car is already pulled off the racetrack. The drivers were told that the pace car would pull off when the 1 more lap signal was given, so that there would be no more passing of the pace car. As we have seen in the past, the pace of the restart determined by the leader of the race. He can pick up the throttle between turns 3 and 4.
And Bob, that really got a rise out of Chip Ganassi. All he saw was his driver passing the pace car, and he kept yelling, "Don't pass the pace car! Don't pass the pace car!" And then he realized that it was a rule change. He feels a lot better now.
Well, I'm sure he does, and he's picking it up right here, coming out of 3.
Well, you see Dismore is a lap down right behind the leader, so it'll be interesting to see if he can give Montoya any stuff to try to get that lap back, Bob.
Here they come to the green flag, and we're back to racing at Indianapolis on the 85th lap.
There's
That's Scott Sharp.
He's also trying to get his lap back, so the Kelly cars are determined to get by Montoya and get back on the lead lap.
And Scott Goodyear would also like to get a lap back. He is in 12th position.
Well, these guys are all guys that stop, so they can stretch it a little farther on this next pit window. This is going to be interesting to see how this develops.
Single file down the backstretch into turn number 3. There is Goodyear running 12th.
That's the yellow car.
Just looking out of the back of Scott Sharp's car. Got a good run onto the main straightaway. Behind him is Jason Leffler. Running good, clean today.
Again, that's the red and yellow car. That's Scott Sharp. Followed by Jason Leffler. That's in the Penske-sponsored car, actually. And we actually saw Roger down there in the front straightaway before the race started.
It's another Treadway car, the other two cars. Robbie McGee running in 3rd place right now. And Raul Boisel.
The United Auto Group Special, driven by Jason Leffler. Here is Jimmy Vasser, who is back here right behind that group of cars, running in the 2nd position.
Right behind him is Robbie McGee with Treadway Racing.
Let's go back to our race fuel position. Go back to your race fuel position.
And the reason why Robbie McGee is up running so high, they have had great fuel mileage also from Comtech engines. And that's why he's running there. But now the handling is, they've got the handling dialed in the first couple of pit stops. And Robbie McGee is actually closing in right here on Jimmy Vasser. Look for a pass.
McGee has indeed got good mileage. He was one of the last to pit on the first round of stops and also the second. And now he charges toward Jimmy Vasser but cannot pass as Eliseo Salazar up ahead tries to pass a slower car and unable to do so in the north end.
And we'll have another traffic situation giving us some passing opportunities here for the guys coming up on that slower traffic.
Well, timing of the traffic is just so critical. You just can't afford to get up behind them in the middle of the corner. You got to get a run on them on that exit.
And you have to be a little bit lucky too, because sometimes you can't let off and time it right because the guy behind you will pass you. So it's a matter of getting a little lucky on that.
Robbie McGee driving the Meyer Energizer Advanced Formula Mall.com G-Force.
Bob Jenkins, you mentioned Robbie McGee's fuel mileage. I talked to Skip Ball a moment ago. They feel like they're getting maybe the best fuel mileage of anyone in the top 5 or 6. They have gone 34 laps on their previous stop. And as already mentioned, they made an air pressure adjustment to fix a push in the car and a bit of a front wing change. And now Robbie has been told to simply ride and learn and save some fuel. This may be a really good day for Robbie McGee and Team Treadway.
Well, it's just about 4:30 Eastern Time. We welcome you to the Indianapolis 500. If you're just joining us, 88 laps are completed. I'm Bob Jenkins, along with former Indy 500 winners Tom Sneva and Arie Luyendyk. Juan Montoya is leading this race over his teammate Jimmy Vasser with McGee, Darre, and Salazar, the top 5. We have had a couple of crashes, one involving Greg Ray that has eliminated him from contention, and also the 2 women in the race, Lynn St. James and Sarah Fisher, were taken out in the same accident. Now again, we see McGee with a good run this time on Jimmy Vasser as they come down the front straightaway. Yeah. McGee is to the right and Vasser to the left, and coming down to the end of the straightaway, McGee gets the spot.
And Jimmy had to get out of the throttle big time coming out of turn 4, picked up a push from the car ahead of him.
Again, that dirty air we talk about, if you get up underneath them too tight, you lose that downforce in the front wings and the car wants to go right to the wall.
And here's Darre moving past Donnie Beechler. Darre running in 4th place is just running great today, coming through past Donnie Beechler and Salazar following him through.
And that is a battle for position between Darre and Salazar for the 4th spot. Eliseo, who has run the fastest lap of the race so far, is closing in on the 4th place Darre.
Well, you can see where he started and where he's at now, Bob. This is a tremendous effort by a rookie driver.
And he showed really well in Vegas. He was leading the race before gearbox problems put him out of the race. But we've got the car champion in front, Rookie of the Year last year, Robbie McGee in 2nd place, Vasser 3rd, and Darre 4th. Great battles going on here.
Darre driving the Team Extreme, USACredit.com, freeinternet.com G-Force. and is from Sao Paulo, Brazil, making his home in Miami right now, and certainly an impressive driver in the first 3 races of the year, and he's been very impressive here in his 4th race today at Indianapolis. In his previous performances, he's finished 11th in Orlando, 22nd at Phoenix, and 14th at Las Vegas, despite the gearbox problem that he experienced while leading.
So many talented
and this Ayrton Dare just signed a multi-year extension this week with Team Extreme, so obviously the team getting its money's worth today out of the 22-year-old. As you mentioned, he started on the outside row of row 7. That's all the way back in the 21st position, and you see he's made his way all the way up toward the front. A lot of smiles in the Team Extreme pit box.
So many talented drivers from Brazil and from South America for that matter. Montoya, now Dare, Salazar, one of them, and many more. Dare is actually closing in a little bit on Jimmy Vasser to take that 3rd place, so we keep an eye on that. Robbie McGee pulled away a little bit from Jimmy and is solid in 2nd place right now. And those guys of Treadway Racing have always had great fuel mileage. Comtech really doing a good job for them, and that could still be a key in this race.
On board with Buddy Lazier, and he tries to pass a slower car. Lazier is in 8th position.
Again, that's a pass in the short chute, Bob, and that's the short chute describes itself. It's a short amount of time, and that's a good handling car.
And it's a very short chute for an Indy car. It's a little bit longer than one of those Oldsmobiles we drove yesterday.
And we saw him
Buddy,
flexing his hands, yeah.
And Buddy always does that. You've got to relax out there. It's hard to relax at 220 miles an hour when you're in traffic. So anytime you get the opportunity, you try to flex the muscle.
That's Buzz Calkins that he is passing going into turn number 1, and Calkins driving the Team Can car is reported in 23rd position. Team Can standing for Cure Autism Now.
Buddy Lazier on his own, trying to close in on Teddy Cheever, who's ahead of him in 7th place. He's trailing him by about 2 seconds. There he is on your left-hand side of the picture. There's Eddie Cheever going through turn 4.
And again, some of these guys pitted under that yellow, so there's a lot of traffic in between them and the leader.
Car slowing down. Andy Hillenberg down the backstretch, the Indiana native who started in sprint cars not too far from here, winning track championships. He's been a stock car driver for the most part in his racing career, but he had the dream of racing at Indy, but he's on the warm-up lane and headed for the pit area. This is the Sumar Special presented by Irwindale Speedway. Hillenberg wanted so much to race at Indianapolis, I am told, that even on his wedding altar, he turned to his best man and said, "Boy, someday I sure hope to drive at Indianapolis."
It's the back of the car of Jimmy Vasser ahead of Ayrton Dare.
We go down to Leslie Goodell, who's with Sarah Fisher.
Obviously a very disappointing way to end this race, Sarah. Can you talk about what happened out there?
Well, you know, I really don't know. It's all of a sudden it wound up 3 abreast. You know, I was going to the inside of turn 1 passing Lynn, and all of a sudden someone came on the inside, and I don't know. It just doesn't work when you're 3 abreast here. So, you know, the positive side is we're going to try and fix the car and get back out there in the race. I was having a great time before the crash, so, you know, everything was great. Meade and Cummins are hopefully happy, and we'll try and get back out there and run some more laps.
What did Derek Walker say to you?
Derek said to be calm and, you know, not to worry, because I always get down on myself, and he said to cheer up, that I had nowhere to go.
What's it like driving in your first Indy so far?
It's been wonderful. I had a great time. We love the attention that we've been getting as far as fans goes and media goes. It's great for everyone that's associated with us. It's great for our team. We're really happy about that.
What about the experience that you've gained from being out there in this short time?
There's a lot of things I learned here. I mean, the start is one piece of experience that you can't actually learn unless you do it. So we've been through that, and we've been through the first third of the race. So we've got a little bit of experience to gain for next year.
What was it like driving in the traffic out there, and was it what you expected?
Yeah, actually, at Las Vegas, when you get in a draft, you'd lose your front end, and the same holds true here. Indy's a hard place to pass on, and every little lap that you get to get a run on someone, it helps you learn. So all the experience, the better.
Was the start of the race what you actually expected, though, the very beginning?
A little bit, yeah. They said that the stands would be a lot more, you know, congested and it would overwhelm me a little bit. But I think what really got it was how dirty the track was the first lap around. That's really what got my attention.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Bob?
Boy, some great battling going on out here as these cars approach slower traffic, and there is debris on the race course, and the caution comes out.
That yellow could have been for those three guys going into turn 3.
It should have been
while
for
we were
those
watching
things.
that.
But it was interesting. Sarah, on her education, 3 abreast into turn 1 is the ultimate in cramming for finals, Bob.
Boy, and she'll know that it just doesn't work. We saw her and Lynn eliminated in the same crash. More of the Indy 500 after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
We're just about at half distance of the Indianapolis 500 for the year 2000, so we'll have a quick chat here in pit lane as it is. We're under a yellow flag and we can see pit stops. Montoya, the race leader's in, McGee's in, Dare is in, the 4th place man. So McGee, who was in 2nd place in front of Jimmy Vasser. So Jimmy Vasser, now Dare is out. So Dare has got a flying stop there. So Dare is going to overtake the top men. We can go back to live commentary at trackside and pick up the action from the track.
Buell stalls it.
Well, it was tight coming out of the
Back at
pits.
Indianapolis, and you can see the rush off pit lane as pit stops have been made under this caution period for debris on the racetrack. Here's a replay of the stops as they occurred of the top 3 drivers, with Montoya on top. Here comes Robbie McGee on the middle and Ayrton Dare on the bottom of your screen. Again, good work from the Chip Ganassi Target team. They get their driver out in 11.2 seconds. It took McGee 10.3 and Dare had a 12.1 second pit stop.
When it looked like Dare got off first, but Bob, his pit is a lot farther north in the pit area, so he stopped first, and that's why it looked like he got out first.
100 laps have been completed. We are at the halfway point, and when they come down to complete this lap, we will have an official race. Meanwhile, Vince is with Andy Hillenberg.
Well, it was a dream come true for Andy Hillenberg to run in this event, but it comes to a premature end.
Yeah, it does. Had a little problem there at the left rear wheel bearing or hub. I'm not sure yet. We're going to take it back to the garage and maybe fix it, but I kind of doubt it because we don't have any parts. My guys, I'd like to thank all of them for doing a super job this month. You know, I was a little slow getting going because I really didn't know what to expect, and we went a lap down there, and you know, it was pretty slow getting in and out of the pits. But on the racetrack, it was really cool. Starting to get the hang of this kind of racing, and maybe someday I'll get invited back to do it again.
It's been a great story. We hope to see you soon. Andy Hillenberg.
Thanks.
Jack Arute.
Well, let's tell you a little bit about what happened with Juan Montoya on that pit stop. They're very concerned in and out because he doesn't have the same sort of brakes as we get ready to go back to green. But when he started to pull back out, he was halted by Chip Ganassi because all of a sudden Eliseo Salazar was coming across his bow. Quick thinking by Ganassi avoided disaster on pit road.
The Team Purex car, driven by Robbie Buell, has gone behind the wall. As you can see, we are now at a complete race, 101 complete, and as they come down, they will take the green flag to complete lap number 102.
Again, with the pace car pulling off down between 1 and 2, it gives the leader an opportunity to accelerate quite early in the back to green lap, Bob.
Couple of lap cars are ahead of Juan Montoya as he takes the green flag and continues to be in the lead. He led 71 of the first 100 laps, Juan Montoya did. And here is the pit stop summary. McGee losing a couple of positions, Dare staying in 3rd.
Look at Dare
picking up
coming,
2,
Bob.
and Dare is indeed on a run down the backstretch.
Dare challenging Jimmy Vasser here. Dare's car is handling very well in traffic because you can see he stays very, very close to Jimmy Vasser through the turn, and that is a good sign for him because he has a great car. He's coming off of turn 4 pretty good here. He might pick up a draft and get by.
See, he's trying to get in that
His
draft.
car is running as well as it is because they took out 6 pounds of tire pressure already today and have made 3 full turns of front front wing on both sides. So that gives you an indication this car was not good at the beginning of the race, but they've done a nice job of working with it to get it comfortable. And Ayrton Dare not driving this one like a rookie today.
Has a good run down the backstretch.
Well, 6 pounds of tire pressure might not sound a lot to some people, but that affects the spring rate of the car tremendously, and that should really soften up the front of the car to help bite the front tire.
Oh, by IndyCar standards, that is huge. I mean, 1 or 2 pounds makes a big difference on these cars, but Dare is just great in traffic.
Al Unser Jr., as you saw in the upper right box, has climbed out of his car and has given up the pursuit. We're on board with Jeff Ward, who is running in 4th position, about 5 seconds behind Montoya. And still, Ayrton Dare pursues Jimmy Vasser for the 2nd position, but Dare has not found the opportunity to pass. And here comes Jeff Ward up to make that a 3-car battle for position.
Well, again, Dare's quick in the corners, but that might be because the aero package. You might have a little more downforce in the car, gets him through the corner, but it hurts the straightaway speed, Bob, and that's maybe why he can't use the draft and get by.
I think that's exactly what's happening, Tom. And not far from these guys, of course, we have Ward there, but Buddy Lazier is closing in on them as well as Salazar and Cheever. So we've got a great battle going on for 3rd place and 2nd place.
Good battle of 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, but out front is Montoya, and he stretched his lead already to over 5 seconds over his teammate Jimmy
And one
Vasser.
of the problems that Vasser is having, guys, on that pit stop, they took the rear wicker out of the rear wing. All of a sudden, Jimmy gets on the radio and says, I can't drive this car.
Well, you know how it is, Jack. Small changes mean big results, and you take a little bit of rear wing out, you lose downforce, and when the car gets loose, the driver has to roll out of the throttle.
I think the problem for him is when he's going to approach traffic. That's when he'll notice that rear wicker being taken out of the rear wing. Right now on his own, he's pretty good.
Down to Jerry Punch, who's with Al Unser Jr.
Al, back at Indy. I know it was a short afternoon, but the excitement of just being back here and being able to come back to a place that you consider home.
Well, it was just great for us. You know, it's a shame that when Greg Ray hit the fence over there, some of the debris, I ran over it, it punctured a hole in my radiator. We went back and fixed it, tried to get out there. We had 10 laps down, and just getting out there, I was in the way of everybody, and I felt it was real unsafe, so we don't have anybody to race, so might as well park it.
Being able to come back make you miss it that much more?
Oh yeah, we'll be back for sure. We'll be back with vengeance, and you know, this is the greatest place in the world. What can I say? I was going around on the pace laps talking with Tom, and it was just so great to be back. So with our new sponsors, Tickets.com and Stars Encore, we'll be back.
Al Unser Jr. back at Indianapolis, still choked up even though he will not finish today.
And the man on the move is Jeff Ward, as he has gone around both Ayrton Dare and Jimmy Vasser, and now Ward is in 2nd position on board with Buddy Lazier, who's moved up to 4th as Dare now begins to fade a bit. Here comes Eliseo Salazar up to challenge him now for the 5th position. But up front, it is all Juan Montoya, who has an 8.6-second advantage now on Jeff Ward. 108 laps completed in the 84th running of the Indianapolis 500. We'll be right back.
It's a ball. Sportal. Sport on the internet. Delivered by professionals.
Sign up now with NatWest.com and enjoy banking in the comfort of your own home.
Homebase have been hammering down prices again.
Prices hammered, Leslie.
We're hammering up to 30% off the price of all exterior paints.
Ooh. And these? Oh.
We're hammering up to 20% off the price of all resin furniture and barbecues.
Great prices.
They've been hammered.
And we're hammering up to 20% off the price of all hedge and grass trimmers.
Price hammered. Hammered.
With prices hammered right around the store, you're better off at Homebase.
A step-by-step guide to a great-looking lawn. Step 1. Take a container of evergreen grasshopper. Step 2. Apply the granules to your lawn. Step 3. Do nothing. That's right, do nothing. Step 4. After 7 days, admire your beautiful lawn. Go on, take a closer look. Evergreen grasshopper, you're just a few steps away from a beautiful lawn.
Zoe, Jamie, listen, about tonight, what do you fancy? Got a lovely bit of sea bass, whopping great prawns, turbot, langoustine, scallop, squid, whatever you like.
Oh, mate, you're not going to believe this. I'm in New York.
Ooh, very nice. Send us a postcard.
Welcome to your world. From 1 to 1.
There are 111 laps into the 200-lap race here for the Indianapolis 500. Still leading, Juan Pablo Montoya. Jeff Ward has just swept into second place in front of Jimmy Vasser and Ayrton Dare. That's how the top four are at the moment. There's an 8.6-second lead on Montoya over Jeff Ward, but Jeff Ward is the mover and shaker as we look down on the track live at the Indianapolis 500. And no rain. This looks like it's going to go full race distance. Al Unser Jr. is out of this race, as is the poleman Greg Ray. Greg Ray hit the wall and Al Unser Jr. ran over the debris. Both men now out of the race. A huge crowd here then at trackside. And we can look down on Juan Pablo Montoya leading from Jeff Ward and Jimmy Vasser. Ayrton Dare is there in fourth place. Ward and Dare are the movers and shakers at trackside. Let's cross now for comms.
Budweiser Blimp and its Eye in the Sky camera are proud to provide you with these live shots 1,000 feet above the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the capital city of Indiana. Well, due to the length of this rain-delayed Indianapolis 500, the Snapple Superstars will not run today, but will be seen at a later date. Check your listings for that event. On the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we have a good battle here going on for 7th position between Eddie Cheever and Robbie Gordon. Well, all day, Eddie Cheever has been dealing with a lot of traffic out there on the racetrack. And before the race began, we asked him, how do you deal with race traffic?
I'm going to try to not hit him. That's the biggest problem you have with the 500 is everybody's in such a tense state because they realize it's the most important race of the year, that there are periods of the race where everything gets kind of out of hand and you've got to try to not get involved in it.
Eddie Cheever's Infinity Indy engine has held up well so far in the first 114 laps. He is in the 8th position, and here is Robbie Gordon looking to the inside of Dare, who is right behind Eliseo Salazar. So again, we've got a great battle here, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th running right together on the racetrack.
Looks like Robbie Gordon has come alive. He's moving up the field here and dropped back a little bit with the pit stop situations, but now he's hunting these guys down. In front, Montoya is still leading by quite a bit, pulling away now from Buddy Lazier, who passed Jeff Ward.
He's hunting them down. He's got a big bow to hunt him down with too. He's coming.
Four leaders so far in the Indianapolis 500. Montoya has led 86 of the 116 laps. Ray has led 26 before he was eliminated. McGee has led 2 and Vasser 1. And by the way, McGee's car is faltering. He's back in 9th position but has fallen off the pace. Jack?
And Bob, the other car was running second for a while to his teammate Montoya. Jimmy Vasser, remember we told you that they took the wicker bill out? These are what we call wicker bills. They go on the rear wing. If you were with us during the rain delay, I showed you how you slide them in. With all the rubber and debris that's on the racetrack, the little groove on Jimmy Vasser's got so stuck up they could take the wicker out, but they couldn't put a new wicker in. That's why the car has become so loose.
Wow. AC Eddie Cheever has taken the position from Gordon, so Cheever now in the 7th position.
And in this group, there's Jimmy Vasser. He might be holding on to that car, but he's still holding off these guys right behind him. Eddie Cheever in the same group behind Dare. And then ahead of them is Salazar, and that guy in front is Jimmy Vasser.
Oh, look at this. Whoa,
Look at
3 wide down to the first turn, and Dare gets both Salazar and Cheever.
Whoa.
Whoa.
There's an eyeful, I'll tell you.
Well, there's a couple of veterans getting through with one rookie, but they did great.
Wow. And now
Here we go.
Dare with a
Dare's
good run on Vasser. Yeah, down the backstretch to see if he's able to make the pass. Indeed, Ayrton Dare goes to 4th spot.
And look at, or listen to Jimmy Vasser. He's just threading the throttle there, just being real gentle because his car is just not handling great. And look for Jimmy to be passed here by all these guys behind him.
Well, again, like you say, when he was leading, it wasn't nearly as serious. But once he gets in the middle of all that turbulent air, that car is really going to loosen up on him.
One thing we can see there is he is quick on the straightaway for not having that gurney flap in the rear wing. He really is a quick car down the straight and struggling a little bit through the turns.
Well, the new ABC innovation that we're showing you here in the Indianapolis 500, the track map will show you the interval of the top 3. Montoya with a good lead over Lazier, who's pursued by Ward.
Still leading, Juan Pablo Montoya from Buddy Lazier, who's made a brilliant move up into 2nd place there. But the man of the moment in that particular last couple of laps was a man you've raced quite a lot with, Ben Collins here, Ayrton Dare. I mean, you must be pig sick sitting here with us rather than watching him doing that out there.
Yeah, I'd rather be driving, that's for sure, I'm afraid. But it's great to watch him doing really well. It was good you raced against him last year. And it's great to see someone you've raced against doing so well in the 500. It gives you, a lot of inspiration to go for it as well.
Why did you come back here from America to race in Formula 3? Not that Formula 3 is much of a come down because it's tough in this country, but why did you come back to Britain?
I tried to stay out to do Indy Lights, but it was very difficult. There was a lot of guys with big budgets, and unfortunately there aren't many teams that can really subsidise drivers out there. So it really sort of dried up at the end of the year. And I was searching for something to do. Formula 3 at the moment is definitely it's the place to be, I think, in Europe. And Jensen's shown that in Formula 1, having graduated from F3 last year. There's a lot of guys doing F1 testing who were in Formula 3 last year and in this year as well. So it was a good move.
And you've been a race winner this year as well, so that must be heartening you as well in a tough class.
Yeah, it's great to have won one already. I need to win a few more. I think the team is certainly capable of it. So we're looking forward to Brands Hatch this weekend.
Well, we wish you the best of luck there, but your old teammate Ayrton Dare is doing it for you at the moment out in the Indianapolis 500 race here, and Ayrton Dare, really, we've seen some ducking and diving there from him. There was a couple of tough moves he made a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, he was very bold. I think he was helped a bit by Vasser having a bit of a problem, but still he got past Salazar with a big move. Very brave getting past Vasser as well.
Well, Montoya still leads. We've got Buddy Lazier in 2nd place. We've done 121 laps. Buddy Lazier has come from a long way back. We mentioned him in the preamble to this programme, but Buddy Lazier, Russell Bolgin here with us in the studio as well. It's a good move from him.
It is a good move. It looks to me like he's in the situation where now he's got his car working well. In the early part of the race, we thought he had a lot of understeer. It didn't want to turn in. Now the track has changed. They've got the car sorted out on the pit stops, and he seems to be going really well. And of course, he's timing it perfectly, because you want to be quick in the second half of the race rather than the first half of the race, because that way you can get yourself in good shape for the last sprint and also keep the machinery together.
Well, he's come from the 6th row on the grid. He's making his move in the last half of the race. And we can look down on the track live for the Indianapolis 500 and rejoin our commentary team at trackside for the best of the action.
I'm Bob Jenkins with former Ray was one of those involved in an incident. He's out of the race and Montoya leads. Al Unser Jr., we saw him drop out of the race a few minutes ago. Sarah Fisher, currently 31st. They're working on her car. A.J. Foyt has a good race going with his 3 drivers. They're 3rd, 6th, and 17th. And again, the gearbox problem has not been that serious a problem to this point. The fastest car on the racetrack is Eddie Cheever, or among the fastest. He has moved up to 5th position now.
Eddie Cheever passed 3 cars in the last couple of laps while we were on commercial break, and it's just on a tear. And he's really happy with his car. He radioed in that he's really happy with the handling. He's got it dialed in, and let's look for him on the next pit stop. Let's see if he does make any changes or not.
Well, I'd say Montoya ain't real upset with his car either.
Leslie Goodell is with Richie Hearn, who's dropped out.
Richie Hearn is done for the day after having problems with his car. Talk about what happened.
Oh, really, I don't know. We, after that one long yellow we had, I just went to go and it didn't want to go. It was running pretty good up to that point. I messed up my first pit stop, but a car was really easy to drive and pretty good in traffic, and so you know, it wasn't too bad. I wasn't too worried about getting my lap back, but I don't know. We changed everything, and you know, I don't know. The valve spring must have broke or something like that. But I'd like to thank all the guys from Pagan Racing and who gave me a chance here to run here this year, and Walker Racing for helping out, and Net Zero, Curb Records, and Petromali for putting together this program, and you know, we'll try again next year.
Thanks a lot. An update on Robbie Buell. He is out of his car. They're trying to fix the gearbox, but hoping to get back out. He is the IRL points leader. They'd like to get back on the track. Jerry Punch?
Well, the news is not good, wrestling at all for Robbie McGee and Team Treadway. When he pitted on lap 99, he was in second spot, and now he is trying to hang on to ninth position. They have a motor problem, an engine problem brewing. When he went back on the racetrack, the engine would not come up to speed. He has now lost 200 RPMs.
And a problem here on the main straightaway, a car smoking. It appears as if it's Dare, and indeed it is. The car smoking. I don't know whether he's had contact with the wall or just an engine problem. Doesn't look like the car is damaged in any way, but boy, a tough break for Ayrton Dare, who was running right up there at the front.
And you could see him, he was really mad. He was beating on the steering wheel. He was so happy with what was going on.
Slow it down. Just put it down there and park it. Park it at the pits.
They were giving him instructions.
Oh, and you can see how frustrated he is.
South American temper. He's really mad about the situation, but that's racing. They blow up, they break, and sometimes they stay in one piece, eh, Tom?
Yeah, fortunately he was able to get it down, and there's a lot of oil there, so he did a good job of getting it out of everybody's way and not causing anybody else a problem.
He was also very lucky that it didn't happen right in the middle of the turn and spinning out on his own oil.
Well, he wasn't far from that position when it did happen.
Only 21 years of age, and Ayrton Dare has had an impressive debut here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Juan Montoya leads under caution.
Ayrton Dare then, unfortunately, out of the race. And Ben Collins here in the Sky Sports studio. You must be sick to see that. Almost as sick as he was, because he didn't look happy man, did he, the way he threw his wheel out of there?
He didn't look very happy. I'm not sure which part of the car he's going to kick next, actually, but at least he's out there safely, so.
Certainly chucking all his toys out the pram, that was for sure. And the car was, it wasn't quite on fire, but I think it was most definitely terminal. So we're looking down on another yellow caution while Dare is out on the inside of the racetrack. They've got to retrieve that now, so we have a caution for while that car is retrieved. Christopher, Ayrton Dare, great shame.
Great shame. Pretty comprehensive explosion inside the engine compartment there, didn't you see?
Not to mention inside the helmet after it happened as well.
He appeared to have smoke coming out of the front of his dashboard as well. So, I mean, really, that was a big let go. The problem always then, when you know your engine's done that, is how can you get out of the way so you don't put everyone else off from your oil. And he did try and get out of the racing line just as quickly as he could. But
and his team, of course, were telling him to pull it over as well.
Well, we could hear his team manager trying to encourage him to get it all the way around to the pit, which, of course, would have been a bit tricky, but no, he didn't.
Well, we're looking at pit lane then, waiting for the boys to turn in. Under yellow, we're on... Well, we wait now as they come down pit lane. Look at this. It's the entrance of the masses. Who's going to get in fast and furious? This is a crucial time in the race as well, isn't it, Christopher?
This really is a critical moment, and this is where the Ganassis team experience, under pressure. Let's see them make proper stop here, while everyone else is herring. You see, the man didn't see who was coming in before he let him go, but he's away. Jeff Ward's pit's been much longer, much longer. Look at that, 7.6 to 10.1.
That's a snappy old time, isn't it, really?
That's an impressive point, and that's the experience. The Target Ganassi crew do this week in, week out, and there are a lot of weekend warriors up and down the pit lane here for the Indy 500, because with 33 cars against a regular IRL field, a lot of people are getting called into this pit stop work.
Juan Pablo Montoya then, the race leader, got it all right out on the track. He's just got it, his team have just got it absolutely right in pit lane. He's out and running once again, so Juan Pablo Montoya leads this. Ayrton Dare, we'll see no more of him, but we'll hear from him in a while, and now we can hear from our trackside commentators.
We remain under caution here at the 84th running of the Indy 500, and during this caution we had again pit stops. Juan Montoya, watch him in the middle. The crew will just do an outstanding job. The Target Chip Ganassi team get him out in a little over 7 seconds. 7.6, and he's out. Jeff Ward at the top and Buddy Lazier. Buddy Lazier took 10.6 and Ward 10.1 seconds. Well, we go back to Al Michaels for his perspective.
Okay, Bob, still under the yellow right now, and an interesting situation shaping up in as much as Juan Montoya was a man who was a rookie last year on the championship auto racing circuit. Wound up winning 7 races, was not only the rookie of the year, but he was the champion. And then there was some doubt as to whether he would ever run at Indy because of the split between CART and the IRL, something that racing fans, I think, gotten very sick of hearing about. But there seems to be some sort of conciliation. There have been attempts at mediation. The two sides, I don't want to say, are necessarily very close to getting together, but much closer than they have been in the last few years. And wouldn't that be something if Juan Montoya comes over and wins the Indianapolis 500? The other interesting things I think right now involving this race are the fact that you have a couple of fellows who have won the race in Buddy Lazier and an Eddie Cheever, who are in the top 4 right now, so they seek to win a second Indianapolis 500. And the multiple winners, of course, of this race are the legendary names, people like A.J. Foyt, who won it 4 times, Al Unser Jr., who won it 4 times, and of course our colleague Arie Luyendyk was a 2-time winner. As we go back to Bob Jenkins.
Green flag is about a half a lap away now. Montoya continues to lead. This caution is because Ayrton Dare apparently had an engine problem. And right behind Montoya is Jeff Ward, running for A.J. Foyt and the Harris A.J. Foyt force. And they get ready for the restart. Pace begins to quicken up just a little bit, and the green is out. We're back racing at Indianapolis. A couple of lap cars ahead of Montoya, but he makes quick work of them as he heads for turn 1.
And that's what he really wanted to do right there, because Jeff Ward, he knew he was behind him, and he figured if I can get past those back markers, give me some breathing room.
Well, look at Ward. Ward had to make a pass on the short shoot. Johnny Unser was on the outside there, but Ward was able to get the job done.
Down to Jack Arute.
Fellow South American, as you watch our Ayrton Dare, as you watch your fellow South American from Colombia, how disappointed are you?
Second time in a row. We're leading in Las Vegas and we broke the gearbox. Now we're running good. My car had one of the best cars in the field, and we're gonna go for the front. I mean, again, now it's the motor that blew up, but it's really disappointing.
This is the heartbreak, Leslie Goodell, of the Indianapolis 500. It's right on Ayrton Dare's face.
Robbie Buell's feeling the same kind of heartbreak right now. A few minutes ago, you thought you were going to get back in the race with it was just a gearbox problem, but it's something else. What is it?
Yeah, no, it's motor related. Not sure what it is, but it's not a quick fix, unfortunately. So it's pretty frustrating for the whole Purex crew. You know, we had high hopes here, and it's really frustrating.
The race was obviously going very smoothly for this first 66 laps for everybody out there, and suddenly everything changed.
Yeah, no, we were happy with the car, and we were just going to keep adjusting it through the pit stops, and then that pit stop, something broke, so unfortunate.
Robbie Buell, the IRL points leader coming into this race, Bob, so obviously a very big disappointment.
And a good battle for second position on the racetrack. We're on board with Buddy Lazier, who's third, but he is pursuing Jeff Ward. And Jerry Punch, what's wrong with Cheever?
Eddie Cheever radioed in, said the gearbox may be gone. I've got a bad vibration. Owen Snyder said, try to get it back in here. Eddie said, I may try to ride it out, but it's getting worse. The vibration is very bad. Eddie said it is the gearbox. That was a big concern today for a number of teams.
And Buddy Lazier has taken second spot from Jeff Ward in turn number 3.
His next target right now is the leader, Montoya. Montoya leading by about 2 seconds over Buddy Lazier, but there's a lot of traffic ahead of Buddy Lazier that will cost him some time. Once he gets through that traffic, then he can set his sights on Montoya.
And it has been all Juan Montoya so far in this race, except for the first 26 laps when Greg Ray led the race. There are the rookies and where they stand. Jason Leffler is the second best rookie, 15th. Lazier 18th, Hornish 19th. Dare just dropped down in 23rd. Hillenberg is out in 28th, and Fisher was eliminated earlier, and she will finish in the 31st position. As far as rookie winners here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it hasn't happened since Graham Hill came here and won as a rookie in 1966. We may have a situation this year in which a rookie wins the race.
Good job. -9 to the leader.
Well, if Montoya keeps running this strong, I think we're going to have some green light specials at those Target stores, not blue light specials, Bob.
He is just doing a terrific job. There is Robbie Gordon, who is running in 5th position.
Robbie Gordon pursuing Jimmy Vasher. Jimmy Vasher looks like he's going a little bit better than earlier. They must have gotten him a goodie flat back in that rear wing, so the car is handling a little bit better through the turns for him.
Vasher running 4th and Gordon in 5th position. Montoya, by the way, has led for 255 consecutive miles. He has a 4-second lead on Buddy Lazier. Coverage of the 84th running of the Indianapolis 500 will continue after this word from our ABC stations.
On my count, 1, 2, 3.
This Thursday, the series finale and an intense conflict develops.
I didn't abandon him.
I got stabbed in the back twice with a 6-inch butcher knife. I'm in a lot of pain.
The demise of one of the ER's finest.
So you inject the fentanyl into your wrist?
What? Do you honestly think I'm a drug addict?
How will he react to the ultimatum they're about to give?
He's lying, Mark.
I know.
The series finale of ER, Thursday at 9:30, Sky 1.
Oh, Carly, 3 groats. What about 1 groat and a turnip? Done.
We got any leeches for this?
Ah! Hey, what's going on?
What a difference a Carly makes.
Wasn't that offside?
What's offside?
I don't know.
The new Mazda Premacy from £14,405 on the road. All of our cars come with a 3-year warranty and an impeccable reputation for quality.
They also cleaned the channel
63 laps to go then of the Indianapolis 500, and we can go immediately straight back to our trackside commentary team.
And Jack Arute, Eddie Cheever's pits up here. They're able to smile a little bit now. He said the vibration he had in the gearbox a moment ago was bad in 4th, even worse in 5th. But when he shifted to 6th gear, it has gone away, at least momentarily. They had their fingers crossed that Eddie can finish the last 62 laps.
Salazar there sneaking up on Gordon in the battle for the 5th position. Gordon is 5th and Salazar right there in the 6th position. And Eliseo has had a terrific race today. ABC Sports is the place for great racing action next Sunday. It's the Miller 225 live from the Milwaukee Mile. Don't miss it next Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time here on ABC.
Salazar and Jeff Ward, both driving for AJ Foyt, are really hooked up today. Salazar here following Robbie Gordon and Jimmy Vasher have run strong all day.
Well, they're going to need a hook and try to hook on to Montoya if they're going to have any shot for this victory.
Billy Boat, AJ Foyt's 3rd driver, is shown back in 16th position, 2 laps down. We have 7 cars on the lead lap.
And they're all running pretty close together, starting from 3rd place or 4th place all the way through 7th place in the Cheever.
Well, there's some really good racing going on out there. It's just Montoya hasn't been in the mix. He's been ahead of the mix.
Every time we've had a restart, he's been able to separate himself from the rest of the pack and leave the battling to those behind him.
What has been happening is Montoya has been putting a lot of lap cars in between him and his pursuers. And these pursuers have to get around these back markers in order to go after him. And then every time he breaks away.
And Greg Ray is back on the racetrack. Remember, he hit the wall a little bit earlier in turn number 2 and damaged the right front suspension, but they have repaired it, and he comes back in competition. And here's the wheel-to-wheel battle down the main straightaway as Eliseo Salazar passes Robbie Gordon and takes 5th position.
And we saw Robbie Gordon moving his hand in the cockpit.
Well,
and we don't know what that was all about.
Well, that's called intimidation, but Salazar was taking it all and maybe giving back a little.
And now he's passing Jimmy Vasher, just blowing right by him on the backstretch.
Yes, indeed.
So Salazar moves up to 4th place.
Well, Leslie Goodell has an update on Sarah Fisher.
Bob, unfortunately, Sarah Fisher is done for the day. Too much damage to the suspension in both the front and the rear, so she is out of the race. But I was asking what it was like and what she actually learned in her first Indy 500. She said after hearing so much about it, what it's like to race in the Indy 500, she's glad she actually got to find out for herself.
Vassar repasses Salazar, and the battle continues.
Well, Salazar really got held up there by, it looked like Johnny Unser, but really got held up and gave Vassar a chance to get that run.
Right now it looks like Robbie Gordon is getting held up by Johnny Unser as well.
Juan Montoya leads at the Indianapolis 500 with 142 laps completed. Buddy Lazier 3.5 seconds behind.
Some incredible racing then still going on. We've done something like 142 laps, I think, now, something like that. Ben, I mean, at this stage of the race, Jimmy Vassar now looks like a very strong contender, isn't he? He's in a battle all of his own. But I think Montoya's teammate, they've had a strong team, haven't they? They've had a very strong set of cars out there.
For sure, yeah, both of them have been running really quick. I think Jimmy had a lot more trouble than Montoya. He had trouble in qualifying with his car, and he struggled to get the gurneys sort of fixed on it, but it looks like he must have it back in shape now because he's holding his position very well. Looks like he's catching, I think it's Jeff Ward, so should be a good race.
Keep your eye on the monitor and we'll keep an eye on you moving around in here. Montoya, Rookie of the Year. At Indianapolis. Christopher, that's fairly impressive. We've sort of overlooked that a little bit in here, I think, because we expected him to go quite good, but he is actually a rookie for Indianapolis.
Yes, and Indianapolis is special, but this is a special racing driver.
Oh dear me, Greg Ray is off again. Sorry to get across you there, Chris. That is Greg Ray. He was in the wall before. He came in, got it repaired. His team done their work brilliantly. He went back out again and said he didn't do a good enough job and biffed it back up the wall. So a disaster for Greg Ray. He was the pole man. What a day he is having. Russell Bolgin, bring you in on that one, please. I mean, what would you write about that in your headline?
Astonishing. I'd always question, actually, if you hit the wall, repairing the car and sending the guy out again, because you can't tell precisely what damage it's done to the chassis. You can replace the suspension bits, but there's suspension mounting points and stuff like that that are difficult to examine and could be damaged. So, but it is 2 accidents in a very short space of time.
Yeah, he said with a grin on his face. But it's a situation that's fairly unique to this racing class, that you can actually put the car behind the wall, repair it and send it back out, Christopher.
Yeah, that's right, particularly so in NASCAR. As we know, in the longer races, it's something people do because you can get points and money so far down the field, and for the Indianapolis 500, that's another feature. But the engineers are always going to be worried, and I'm sure that the Dallara people who take such care with their manufacturing would have been concerned to see that car go back out again. We saw what a big smack it had earlier on. Something must have broken again, unless Greg Ray's having a really off day.
Ben Collins, I bet you wouldn't have fancied going out in it after it already hit the wall. But before we get an answer to that, because I think I know what the answer will be, we can go back to trackside for live commentary from the team at Indianapolis.
The 5th caution of the race is out. The pits are closed. That red flag with the yellow cross indicates the pits are closed. It's Greg Ray once again. He's hit the wall again out in turn number 2 again, and here's a replay of what happened with Greg.
Well, again, the car just pushed. He wasn't even close to the groove. It didn't want to turn at all. Well, look at it. Even before he got to the corner, the thing was up into the gray, Bob. And again, this is one of the problems when you go in and try to fix a car that smacked the wall already once today. It's tough. You're in a hurry. A lot of times you don't catch everything, and that can be the result.
It looked to me that coming out of turn 1, the car never wanted to turn anymore for turn 2. I don't think they really fixed the car for him. I don't think it even turned.
Yeah, they didn't catch all the problems they had.
He was lucky to not go in and head on.
Now the pits are open, and here they come. Montoya, Lazier, Ward, Salazar, and Vassar are your top 5, and here they come toward their respective pit boxes.
Okay, just past Jimmy's guys. Just past Jimmy's guys. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Slow down, slow down.
That is Chip Ganassi talking to Juan Montoya as he comes to pit road. They asked him if he wanted any changes. He said no.
Tires are on. You ready? Set. Go, 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 go. Okay,
8.3 seconds, guys. I'll tell you what, Team Ganassi has been outstanding on every pit stop today. That could be the difference, as you and Tom, Ari Lyondike, alluded to at the top of the show. the pit stops and the strategy, you got to get in quick and get out.
You know what's really amazing, Jack, is the fact that yesterday at Nazareth, the crew wasn't that good in the pits. He lost positions in the pits yesterday's race in Nazareth, and today they've just been outstanding.
And Montoya leads under caution here at Indy.
Well, we heard our commentary team there at trackside saying about pit crews sharpening their act up. Well, of course, the boys here know exactly what's going on. A different pit crew yesterday at Nazareth, Christopher.
Yes, indeed. I mean, Chip Ganassi and one or two of the senior guys have flown over with the drivers, but that is a different crew. That's the crew that's been working the car at Indianapolis, not the crew that was running the Champ car at Nazareth yesterday.
Well, we got the A-team today.
We got the A-team, because this really is one hell of a performance. I mean, just even in that short stop there, nobody was making any changes. They put 1.5 seconds over everybody else. Previously, they put 3 seconds over the other teams. And that sort of thing gives a driver so much confidence. He can get back out there again knowing that the team's working properly. Whereas when you see everyone scrambling around and you're inside the cockpit, I'm sure Ben will tell us, I mean, it really gets you wound up. They're doing a great job.
Maybe Chip Ganassi should train the Ferrari pitmen. Anyway, let's take another look at that Greg Ray incident. This is the second time, and really, to be that far out wide, Ben Collins, I'll bring you straight on this, that car didn't even turn, did it?
It's hard to tell because there's actually, I mean, there's 2 turns to this corner. It's possible if he's got on the marbles that it'll look like he's just gone straight on.
That's a big hit, though.
It's a big hit. That probably hurt quite a bit.
Well, if he wasn't concussed after part 1, Greg Ray in the wall, I'm pretty sure he will be there. We'll take another break right now. We'll come back with live action again from the Indianapolis 500 as we get to the conclusion of today's racing.
More people in more places than any other mobile network.
I'm a dad.
Let the world come to you. Vodafone. You are here.
British Airways, introducing the next generation of air travel.
Being a dad, I want to buy the latest games.
Gameplay has the biggest prize tourneys.
Me and my mates are always borrowing clothes.
With Gameplay, I use this interactive TV remote.
It's full on for mod downloads.
And swapping makeup. But now we use Gameplay
to get into the gift section.
When I hook up with Driller
and swap tips,
it's a real
Bob's your uncle.
Fragfest.
From now until the end of July, Mazda dealers are taking £1,500 off the price of all new premises.
Today's Indy 500 is anything other than boring. We've seen just about everything today, from a weather delay of 3 hours, and now we're underway and racing, gentlemen. I think we've seen it all. One thing that has perplexed me very slightly is after we've just seen Greg hit the wall again for the second time, the marshals were taking out some strange activity here. Can anybody give me an educated guess on what all this is about? I mean, we obviously got some sharp bits sticking up from the tarmac, but where's that come from?
We think they could be preparing the Formula 1 track for the Grand Prix, in fact.
Well, Bernie will be happy when he sees that then.
obviously some piece of metal off one of the cars has actually gouged a hole in the racetrack, and the stewards have noticed it and they want to see that flat again. They're concerned about it.
Well, that's the most intelligent answer I think we can come up with.
That's a strange selection of tools with which to be trying to do it. I think we're all agreed on that, yeah. No, but cleaning up afterwards is always very difficult. I mean, there's a lot of carbon fibre around, which is incredibly sharp. Little Al went out because his radiator was punctured by someone else's damage, and so they've got to clean up thoroughly, but that's tough. That's Stefan Gregoire, who we've hardly seen making any impression on the race all day.
Indeed, he started from row 7, so a lot of work for him. We can cross now, though, to commentary live at Indianapolis.
Thank you, Robin. Still under caution here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and let's show you a race recap now. Juan Montoya has led for 119 laps. The green race average over 209 miles an hour. We've had 4 leaders and 4 lead changes, and this is the 5th caution that has slowed the race for 22 laps. And they're the drivers who have dropped out of competition for one reason or another. Ayrton Darrowy was running right up there in the top of the field when he dropped out. Robbie Buell, who is the current Indy Racing Northern Light Series points leader coming into this event, also is out of the race, and so are Lyn St. James. And Greg Ray was the reason for this most recent caution, as he hit the wall for the 2nd time out in turn number 2. Well, speaking of hitting the wall, there is a report that Buddy Lazier may have clipped the outside wall rather, as he exited pit road. He thinks he did, but our video really doesn't say so. He thinks he hit it with the right rear, but it really doesn't look that way.
Well, you could hear the motor rev up a little bit, Bob, as he got back in the throttle, and he might have knocked the rear end loose a little bit, accelerating out of the pits.
Just a little tight here.
Dismore.
8.3 seconds.
No, not even close. Did not hit it. Jerry?
Well, down on the Buddy Lazier pit with Dennis LaCava, Chief Mechanic. Dennis, we just showed a replay. It showed that he did not touch the wall. I guess he thought he hit the wall exiting the pits, but that was very, very close. So he was concerned about maybe the right rear of the car.
Yeah, he had radioed in and said that he thought he hit the wall. It gets very congested down there, and he was trying to get around somebody, and he radioed in and said he hit the wall. I'm glad for you to tell me that he didn't, because that's good news for us.
So Buddy Lazier dodges a bullet. Jack Arute?
Yeah, Jerry, it's about time to see just exactly what's going to happen on strategy for more pit stops. Chip Ganassi, one more stop for your crew?
Yeah, it'll be one more stop, Jack. They need about 20 gallons.
And how close will you go? Will you pit early or pit late?
Jack, I can't tell you that.
Vince?
A.J. Foyt during that last pit stop for Jeff Ward was upset with the jackman Brett Barnhart. While the wing was being adjusted, the car was kept up on the jack until after the adjustment was made. A.J. felt as if the car could have been dropped off the jack. They could have saved some time getting out of the pit stop, because Juan Montoya's stops have been perfect. You got to take advantage of every second.
Well, Foyt's drivers are doing well in 2nd, 4th, and Billy Bode in 17th position. Pace cars off the racetrack. There are a couple of lap cars ahead of the leader, Juan Montoya, including Robbie McGee there.
Well, Bob, as you know, every once in a while AJ will wake up on the wrong side of the carburetor, so who knows what might happen here.
Talking about Buddy Lazier, when he left the pits there's a pavement change, and right there it's a little bumpy, and the car jumped a little sideways on it, and I think that's when he thought that he might have just glanced against the wall. But no problem there, and Buddy was charging before that last yellow, so look for him on the move. And here's Jeff Ward challenging Montoya.
Yeah, he's keeping up with Juan, at least, as the green flag comes out, and we are back to racing, but so is Buddy Lazier, and Lazier goes outside of Jeff Ward, and at the end of the straightaway, Buddy Lazier goes to 2nd position, and now he sets his sights on the leader, Juan Montoya.
Well, that was a great move, and if he had any concern about touching the wall, he didn't show it there, Bob.
He was closer to that wall than he was to the pit wall before, so he's going to charge now because he has the leader in sight.
Leslie Goodell is with Greg Ray.
Well, the good news is Greg Ray is okay. The bad news is you're out of the race. Can you talk about what happened?
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate. You know, we had a good car at the beginning part of the race, and but we just couldn't pull the gears in traffic. We could run fast by ourselves, but on traffic, so we tried taking some downforce out of the car, and we took a little too much, I think, and with the tailwind blowing into 2, the wind just pushed me over to the wall the first time, and we lost so many laps. The guys worked hard. We're trying to get some points for the championship, and I mean, God gives everybody instincts, and I probably should have listened to mine and not climbed back in that car, but the guys worked hard to get the car going, and the car wasn't just right. It wouldn't turn very well, and I was just really trying to come in. after I went through turn 1, the car wouldn't turn, and so I was just trying to come in. I saw a big group of cars coming behind me. I was trying to get out of their way, and the car wouldn't turn at all, so I don't know if something broke, if I was just in the gray, and it's another bad day at the office.
It's not supposed to happen this way when you start from the pole, but this is the Indy 500, Bob.
Greg Ray is the 4th pole sitter to finish last in an Indy 500. The last to do that before today was Roberto Guerrero in 1992. There is Juan Montoya, 1.8 seconds behind is Lazier, and Montoya has broken the record for consecutive laps led by a rookie.
And Bob, we made a little light with Chip Ganassi about whether he will pit early or pit late, but they're going to have to play that one close to the vest. And really, I believe guys will be dependent on how well the 91 of Lazier closes.
Well, right now it's a 1.8 seconds separation between Montoya and Lazier. More of the Indianapolis 500 when we return. 152 laps completed.
The playoff final.
Barnsley v Ipswich.
We want to now win at Wembley. There's no good going there and coming second.
Will Dave Bassett be celebrating a record 8th promotion success by steering the Tykes to the promised land in their first Wembley appearance?
We started the season looking for promotion, and that means we've got to win the final at Wembley.
Will the Blues finally end their 3 years of playoff heartache and make it 4th time lucky for Burley and the Ipswich fans? The First Division playoff final tomorrow, live Sky Sports 2 and Extra.
I wouldn't normally ask you to do this, but I need a report from both of you by Monday first thing. Sorry about the lost weekend, guys.
It's Jack. How's Mary?
Dad, I can't find my boots.
Hang on a sec. They're here.
Bye.
Yeah, Ben, listen, when your firm brought in that new IT stuff...
Funny how a problem is less of a problem when you use the phone.
Bernie, it's Jack. How's it going? Now you're on. Can I pick your brains for a minute? 2 lumps, please.
And how much valuable time you can waste when you don't use it.
Beware.
Bye, Dad.
Morning, Charles.
Here's my report.
Very impressive.
Aren't you going to read it?
I read it last night when Jack emailed it to me at home.
With BT, you can make smart use of your time. Stay in touch.
And the race is hotting up in Indianapolis at the moment. Juan Pablo Montoya may have thought he got this job covered as we did, but Buddy Lazier is closing right in now. Lazier is right on his tail. This is going to be a grandstand finish. Ben, I've got to say it's been very impressive over the last couple of laps from Lazier. Has Montoya got a problem, or has Lazier pulled the pin?
I think, well, it's one thing for him to be catching Montoya, it's been another thing getting past him again, and it's still quite a long way to the checkered. He's got to 1.6 and hasn't got any closer. I think Montoya's also got an advantage in the traffic, so we'll have to see how that one pans out, really.
Christopher Tate, you've got a comment?
Yes, I think while Ben's been talking, he's been closing in on him, and now it looks as though he's set for the pass, and this could be a moment he's
That's Cheever. That's actually Eddie Cheever that's trying to get himself sorted out, possibly.
With Vassar.
Well, that's how it looks at the moment from the studio here. We can go back now to live race commentary from Indianapolis for the closing stages.
Welcome back to the Indianapolis 500. Bob Jenkins here in the broadcast booth with 156 laps completed. We're watching the battle here between Jimmy Vasser and Eddie Cheever for the 5th position. And there is Vasser in the red car and pursued closely. In fact, Cheever gets a great run off the corner, and he's going to dispose of Vasser down the front stretch.
Yeah, Jimmy got a little bit held up by Scott Goodyear ahead of him. And Eddie just took it right away.
And a car in trouble. That is Sam Hornish.
That's going to be a short yellow for us because he didn't really have that much of an impact. He just glazed the wall a little bit, grazed it.
Well, Sam Hornish was having a good run in 19th position, 4 laps down, but it brings out our 6th caution of the day. It really doesn't look like the car is damaged all that much, but Hornish begins to unbuckle. Well, if you're enjoying what you're seeing here at the Indianapolis 500, this is part of the Indy Racing Northern Lights Series. Here is a replay of what happened as Hornish just got the car sideways, looks
Wow,
like.
the back end stepped out on him a little bit. He's in some traffic, but
Real
really
light contact.
real fortunate he didn't hit any harder than that when you lose it coming off the corner.
Sam Hornish, a rookie here at the Indianapolis 500. Here are the other races on the schedule. ESPN will have the June 10th race at Fort Worth. We'll be back at Pikes Peak and also the late race at Fort Worth, Texas. Back in just a moment.
Sam Hornish then at the end of pit lane, having kissed the wall. He'll be out of it. He started on the 14th qualification place. He was 19th in the race, and this is the 6th caution, the 6th yellow flag of the 200 lap race here of the Indianapolis 500. Russell Bolgin, another interesting observation there. We saw Sarah Fisher in similar trouble to Sam Hornish. It just goes to show, just underlines how good that young lady handled her car in similar circumstances.
Absolutely, she held it very well. It all looked like it happened a bit too quickly for Sam, but it was a really unfortunate incident for him because he was going pretty well.
Indeed. Well, we have a chance to take another break at this point in time. Stay with us. The Indianapolis 500 will be back under green, possibly by the time we come back.
HPE Services Solutions can make everyone nimbler, quicker, and more competitive, even the big guys.
Imagine if we had to do everything through an estate agent.
Would you like to look round, sir? Pardon? Normally we insist on an appointment.
Look, I can manage on my own.
Oh, I think you'll find you need a bit of help, sir. We are the local experts. Not quite you, is it, sir? What about number 4? Enormous potential.
At easier.co.uk, you can sell your home with no commission, no estate agents, no problem.
Would you like to leave a small deposit, sir?
Thanks.
If you find there just aren't enough hours, bt.com/timesmart has information and tips to help you get more out of your working day. You can be time smart with BT.
And we're still under yellow at the Indianapolis 500, and the distance between Lazier and Montoya has come down to a ridiculously small amount. Richard Bolgin, you've been following Lazier's progress.
Yeah, the race has been run for 4 years under the IRL regulations, and in those 4 years, Lazier's the only guy to get 4 top 10 finishes. And the year he won, which I think was '96, he actually won with a broken back.
Well, we can go back to trackside now and find out what the race commentators think.
On board here at the Indianapolis 500, the Delphi Automotive Systems MCI WorldCom Dallara, driven by Scott Sharp, who finds himself a lap down in 8th position. We're just about ready to go back to green from our 6th caution of the afternoon.
Well, we got an interesting situation, Bob. I don't think many of these guys can go to the finish without stopping one more time. Vassar stopped here. He was one of the leaders. If they get enough yellows, Vassar might be able to go the distance.
When we come down and get the green flag on lap 162, last year, Robbie Gordon pitted on lap 158. Pitted on 164 and ran out of fuel with a lap to go, as we all remember. All right, here is Buddy Lazier now staying right in the tracks of Juan Montoya. This is the best challenge that Montoya has had all day from Buddy Lazier. Now, let's go down to our 3 pit reporters and get updates on the first 3, Montoya, Lazier, and Ward. Here's Jack.
Well, Bob, we told you a couple of laps ago that they're going to have to pit one more time for the leader. Whether they pit early and run the fuel down or pit late and just do a splash and go, that remains to be seen. Why? Because this man, Chip Ganassi, knows that the rest of the competition are monitoring his radios. And Buddy Lazier goes to the inside, Bob.
Couldn't take the pass, though, as Montoya holds the lead, but Lazier is right in his tracks. We'll keep an eye on it as we go to Jerry Punch.
Good job, good job.
A moment ago, guys, Buddy Lazier said, should I save my tires or should I go get him? The crew said, go get him. We don't know what the weather's going to do. Bobby's going to go after him. I'll tell you what, Buddy Lazier moved up a gear. He shifted up a gear as they came down the front straight. Now he's in 6th gear in the draft of Montoya. To me, it looks like Buddy Lazier has the legs on Montoya on the straightaway, and I think this is the time here we're going to see it.
Well, let's watch closely.
Again, I'm not sure it's the legs, it's the draft. These motors this year, Bob, are a little bit smaller. Because of that, they really affected the draft a lot more. They got less horsepower, so any help they can get with the draft really shows up to the driver.
That's why he has to go up to 6th gear in order not to get on the rev limiter, because he picks up a few hundred revs in the draft.
We'll do an at the line this time to find out just exactly how fast they're going. They come off corner number 4 and complete lap number 164.
At the line, they're pretty close.
2:15.9, second fastest car on the racetrack is Eddie Cheever, back in the 5th spot. And third quick is Jeff Ward. Buddy Lazier in the Delta Faucet Coors Light Tybo Dallara, just a few car lengths behind Juan Montoya, who has for the most part dominated this 84th running of the Indy 500.
Well, the top 5 cars, Bob, are all running in the 215 mile per hour range. So all 5 of the top 5 are very close.
And that was a decision that was made during Carburetion Day. Everybody thought that the lap speeds for race time would be about 2:13. But then at Carburetion Day, Juan Montoya, Jimmy Vasser, and a bunch of guys escalated, and everybody changed gears, figuring it would take this to run up front.
And right now, Montoya leading this race has no bad air in front of him. Remember that Buddy Lazier is behind Montoya and driving in his bad air, upsetting his car a little bit. If Montoya gets held up a little bit by a back marker, then Buddy Lazier can pounce and get by.
And that's why we see Buddy able to catch him, Bob, but he can't get by. He gets close enough, he gets in the turbulent air, and then he starts to lose the front end, and he's got to back off. So it's a real tough situation where a driver's got to time it just right.
I think I would go maybe
Chip Ganassi was saying take some wicker out of the next stop in order to get some more straight line speed, and I couldn't really understand what Juan was saying back with his heavy action.
Speaking of heavy action,
he's got a lot of heavy action than I have, Tom. Especially on that radio.
Juan Montoya started from the 2nd position back in 1969. Mario Andretti won the Indianapolis 500 from the 2nd starting spot. Well, let's go to Vince Welch, who has an update on our 3rd place runner, Eliseo Salazar.
The 2 cars for A.J. Foyt, 3rd and 4th, Eliseo Salazar and Jeff Ward, both have to make another pit stop, as you would expect. They have a window of about lap 175. Salazar 2 seconds behind the leader, Ward 3 seconds behind the leader. But where they lost some time today has been in the pit stops. They'll try to be quicker next time around. That could be the difference.
And Salazar has been moving just a little bit closer towards the 2 leaders by 1/10 of a second on the last lap around, but he's in the same frame of picture.
Jerry Punch has more on Buddy Lazier.
Well, like the other 2 you just heard a moment ago, Lazier will have to make one more pit stop. His window opens up the next time by. If it would have a yellow, he could make the stop and make it the rest of the way. They will pit somewhere around 175 to 178 for their final pit stop of the day. Buddy right now saving the tires a little bit for that final run when he'll go after Juan Montoya.
They come up on Robbie McGee, who has dropped off the pace after a good run in the early going of the race, but he's dropped back to 22nd position, losing laps. And now, once again, we see Lazier flexing the hands.
And I was just going to say, before they came up on Robbie McGee got out of the way, great for Montoya, but couldn't get out of the way for Lazier. And you can't just disappear in thin air because you're going slower. So it was a little bit of a problem for Buddy, cost him some time on the racetrack.
Well, it really did. It was just very unfortunate. Buddy just happened to catch him at the exact wrong spot on the racetrack.
And if that happens on the last lap, or the second to next last lap, that's when you really get mad. But it can happen, and those guys can't just disappear.
And now Salazar begins to close in on second place Buddy Lazier. A good battle up front at the 84th Indianapolis 500. More after this from our ABC stations.
What a difference a few laps make. Salazar then in all sorts of trouble now with, well, closing in on Lazier. Lazier in all sorts of trouble with Salazar. Montoya been let off the hook a little bit there, Ben, would you say?
I think so. Unless Lazier can pull something out and try and catch up with him, he's going to have Salazar all over him and make him get past.
Done something like 168 laps of this 200-lap race now. And Juan Pablo Montoya already broken a record today, has led more consecutive laps as a rookie than any other man ever before here at Indianapolis. So already one record down. If he can win it, how long's it been since the last time it was done?
1966.
1966, gentlemen. Thank you very much for a quick reminder there. So there is Salazar on the move, trying to chase Lazier in second place, but still Juan Pablo Montoya that's running in the lead at the moment. Well, closing stages, what strategy have we got left in this, Ben Collins?
I think they've still got to make one more stop. Looks that way, so it's going to come down to the pit stops. We've seen already that Ganassis are so quick on those that Montoya shouldn't lose out, but if they're threatening on changing his wing settings, so that could affect it.
Well, we'll go back to our racetrack commentary right now and find out what's going to happen.
The Indianapolis 500 has less than 30 laps to go. Juan Montoya has a 2.5-second lead now over Buddy Lazier. And the most recent observation from the spotters in turn number 2 is beginning to sprinkle a little bit. Let's hope that the rain stays away and we can run these last 29 laps and see who wins the Indianapolis 500. The Stanley Cup coverage begins Tuesday on ESPN at 8 o'clock. Second game is Thursday on ESPN, and then next Saturday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, ABC will have the third game of the New Jersey Devils and the Dallas Stars' quest for the Stanley Cup.
Salazar takes second from Buddy Lazier.
Wow, good move by Salazar. He just caught Buddy down the back straightaway with a little draft help.
And Jack Arute has an update on Juan Montoya, who now strings it out once again, Jack.
Yeah, and I want to show you, I think I have discovered what the tactics and the strategy will be. If you look over here on the fuel gauge, there's how much fuel he has. Here's the level that they want to go to on the next stop. Now the question is, we have a little stick over here. You know what we do with sticks? Generally, it means it's a timed stop. It could be a gas and go, even though they only use methanol.
And that second place again was a traffic situation coming up in the slower car there. Buddy Lazier just got boxed in a little bit, and we have a yellow.
The yellow is on. Stan Waddles is smoking, and Stan has had a pretty decent afternoon. He's 16th, a couple of laps down, but it appears to be maybe all over for Stan Waddles, the driver from Florida who's driving the Himmelgarn Metro Racing Dallara.
Well, he has had a good day, Bob. He's actually quicker in turn 4 than anybody throughout the day.
Stan
Information.
Wallace.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ari.
Stan Wallace was running in 6th place, 2 laps off the pace, and it's not going to be a long yellow if he didn't spill too much fluid on the racetrack. He's going to bring it into the pit soon.
And he has one of the fastest laps of the race. At least information supplied to us earlier by IRL Timing and Scoring had Stan at the top of the chart as far as fastest lap of the day.
Well, fuel mileage is not going to be an issue now for the rest of this race. They're all pit now, and they'll have plenty of fuel to go the distance, Bob.
And it'll be very critical, as you gentlemen indicated at the very start of the Indianapolis 500. Pit work is so important. Getting your driver out first, because often it is a move or good work in pit lane that gets you in front and keeps you there.
This caution has also allowed Ganassi to adjust the amount of fuel he'll have to take on board. They were going to change the wicker bill, but after the problems that Vassar, his teammate, encountered, Chip Ganassi radioed to Juan Montoya, no, instead we will make an adjustment with the front wing. So as he pulls onto pit road and into his pit box, you can watch the story unfold as we watch and listen.
Front wing, correct? Half a turn. I hope he doesn't make it too loose, but we need to try. 10-4, we'll give you less than a half. Just a scotch.
Well, you hear it. They're talking about how much front wing to put in. Juan was worried about not making it too loose. Drivers don't like loose race cars, even when you're a brave rookie, Bob.
Here they come. Down for what should be their final pit stop. Buddy Lazier tries first.
Same thing with Buddy Lazier up here. He's complained of a push with his car. They should make a slight adjustment. Dennis LaCava comes across, adds a little bit of front wing, 4 tires, full of fuel, and Lazier is away.
And Salazar smokes the tires as he storms out of pit lane, getting out ahead of Buddy Lazier.
Well, you saw Salazar get that thing sideways. He was gassing it.
Bob, that was not the pit stop that they wanted, though. They were much slower than Juan Montoya, who had come in right behind them. They needed a faster stop, they believed, to win this race, and they didn't get it.
It might be, I saw that Jeff Ward might have beaten Buddy Lazier out of the pit just by a few feet, but Buddy had more speed coming down the pit lane. Jeff Ward being pitted right at the front of the pit lane. As soon as he accelerates, I think he crossed the line before Buddy did, and the IRL can correct that.
Well, save it on this yellow till it goes green, then go back to where you were running. So I need to know, Robbie, is when it goes green, Montoya just starts to check.
Well, we actually have Bosell between the two leaders. Now, Raul started in the back, but he's actually been running pretty fast. He's just had a bad traffic situation by his starting position.
Robbie McGee is on pit lane, and there is Jimmy Vassar in 7th position. Well, Saturday, international soccer comes to ABC as Casey Keller and a powerful U.S. team take on the South Africans in the first round of the U.S. Cup play from RFK Stadium. The USA versus South Africa soccer, 4 o'clock Eastern on ABC. Flying high above the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the Bud 1 airship. To all racing fans, this Bud's for you. Well, Jimmy Vassar has decided not to make a pit stop.
And Bob, that was by design. Remember, Vassar is out of sequence right now. He pitted earlier, and this is what Chip Ganassi likes to do now and again. Take one team and work it one way, take another team and work it the other.
Nice, smooth, easy build-up. You know how to do it.
With 40 laps to go, it was Vassar who came in the pit the last time. And all these laps on the yellow, they get about 8 to 10 miles per gallon. So they're stretching the fuel big time now, and we could see the same situation with Vassar develop as happened last year with Gordon, that maybe he can just make it to the end. This is exciting stuff.
Well, it's going to be real close. I think he's maybe going to need another yellow situation to get there, but it's Indianapolis. Who knows what might happen?
And
these guys have been racing hard.
And Tom, Jimmy Vassar was very upset. He did not want to come in, and when they called him in early, so he's not happy with Anderson's decision.
Well, Jimmy Vassar stands on the throttle and picks up the pace as the green flag is about to come back out here at Indianapolis. Jimmy Vassar is the leader. Montoya is second, and look at the scramble back there again, 4 wide as Buddy Lazier shakes his fist at Eliseo Salazar, unable to take that spot. There's Jeff Ward on the right.
Both Voigt cars are racing each other, and Buddy sort of got caught out by it.
Well, Salazar has done this in the past. One time I remember that David Jones putting him on the inside wall on the front straightaway. He almost did it to Buddy here, and that's why Buddy was upset, waving his fist.
Well, they're both racing. I mean, they're all racing for a victory at Indy, and a lot of things can happen.
Yeah, you don't give it up easy. You don't just say, well, after you, buddy, because right now nobody is anybody's buddy out there.
There's give and take early in the race, Ari, like you know, but late in the race there ain't nearly as much give and take.
With 23 laps to go, you're not going to make any friends here at the end.
On board with 5th place, Buddy Lazier. He has a bead on Jeff Ward. A good run down the front stretch is, yes, Lazier takes that spot from Jeff Ward and moves to 4th spot.
He's talking about how the car is handling, but right now the cars are on cold tires. They have fuel in it, and give it a few more laps to know what the car exactly is doing. Both target cars in the front.
Vasser is first. There is Juan Montoya as he closes in on Jimmy Vasser, who again did not pit under this most recent caution.
Well, and Vasser has a lot less fuel in the car, so he should actually be a little bit quicker. Montoya, he can do it all with full fuel or no fuel. He's fast.
Montoya faster on that lap than Vasser. In fact, he was faster than a couple of other cars. Let's see what he does here. Montoya's right on that rear wing of Vasser as they go into turn 2 and down the backstretch. And now here is Montoya making the move at the end of the backstretch, and Montoya takes the lead from Jimmy Vasser.
You heard him on the radio. He said the car was loose. Now that problem can get worse as the laps go down. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Well, the leader at lap 180 has failed to win 7 of the last 8 Indianapolis 500-mile races. That is an amazing statistic, but that is the way it's occurred. There is Eliseo Salazar, who finds himself in 3rd position now. Right behind him is Buddy Lazier.
And again, every time we see it on the restarts is where Montoya just really goes for it. He really gets out there on cold tires and drives really hard, and we saw a 4-mile-an-hour difference in lap time between him and the competition, and it's costing these guys dearly now. Buddy Lazier, you can hear he lifted off the throttle there. He has a push coming off of 4. He can't really attack as he did earlier in the race.
Well, you can see with his left hand he's moving the weight jacker. He's trying to correct that push problem, Ari, by turning weight to the left front of the car.
But he doesn't seem to be as strong as he was when he was trailing Montoya by a second and actually closing in on him. On this particular stint, you know, with a different set of tires, he doesn't have the same car he had earlier, and that can happen here quite a bit.
Well, really, the only question mark really now is they did a timed fuel stop. Did they get enough fuel in the car to go the distance? I think that would be Juan's only concern right now.
And Tom, that was exactly what Juan asked Chip Ganassi before they went back to green. But Ganassi said, of course. We got enough in. Don't worry about it.
Now here is Eliseo Salazar taking 2nd place from Vasser.
That was Mark Dismore in front of...
Well, again, the traffic's serious. There's a lot of fast cars out there. Some of them might be a lap down, but they're all running very close to the same speeds.
And Jeff Ward now. That's Mark Dismore on the left as Ward finds himself in the 5th spot.
Vasser still. Oh, that's too close. That's too close.
Look at
Eddie Cheever and Robbie Gordon.
Man,
Robbie never gave up. I mean, he on the outside. Now that's tough to get away with.
No friends there.
And that was good racing.
Vasser maintains his position in 2nd spot. Eddie Cheever crosses the line 9.9 seconds behind the leader Montoya. Team Targa Ganassi running 1st and 2nd. Only 4 times have team cars finished 1-2 in the Indy 500. Fred Treadway did it in '97 with Ari Luyendyk and Scott Goodyear.
Well, we know for a fact, Bob, a lot of times they tell the driver what they think he wants to hear and not necessarily the facts. They told Robbie Gordon last year he had plenty of fuel to go, and it turned out not to be the case.
Montoya still stretching his lead a little bit over Vasser, 3.58 seconds ahead of his teammate. Salazar 6 seconds behind Montoya. These two guys are racing each other, but in front of them is Mark Dismore, who's a lap down. And he's not really in their way, but he's maybe just slowing them down a tad and kind of getting in the way of that battle.
The battle for 6th position. Robbie Gordon holds 6th, and Eddie Cheever pursuing in the 7th position. Both of these drivers about 10.5 seconds behind the leader of the race, Montoya, who continues to stretch out the advantage. It's now 4.3 seconds over his teammate Jimmy Vasser and 6.5 seconds over 3rd place Eliseo Salazar. Look how much faster he is. 2:17.3 the last lap. And Jeff Ward was the second quickest that last time around. It's just about 6 o'clock on the East Coast. And here is Buddy Lazier taking the spot from Salazar. So move Lazier up to third once again. We have 15 laps to go in the rain-delayed Indianapolis 500. Juan Montoya leads his teammate Jimmy Vasser. Only 4 leaders so far today. Montoya has led 153 of the 186 laps that we have run. Greg Ray, the defending Indy Racing Northern Light Series champion, has led the second most number of laps, 26, but he crashed twice in this race and is out of competition. Jimmy Vasser has led 5, and Robbie McGee, the only other leader, he has been in front for 2 circuits.
Well, Lazier and Salazar, they got a good chance to catch Vasser, but I don't know if they got anything for Montoya.
That's right, and here we see Jason Leffer in front of Buddy Lazier, and he's not holding him up. We can see Salazar is not really getting closer. He's trying the inside. Sorry.
Ari Leinbach, a moment ago, you commented that Buddy Lazier had a severe push. He has worked the weight checkers a little bit in the car, and the push has gotten better. He has been told as the fuel burns off, it should get less and less. He just reported a moment ago, the push is getting better. He's gaining speed. That's why he went by Salazar a moment ago.
And here is Jeff Ward now to the inside of a slower car, and Eliseo Salazar also comes up.
And we see that Salazar was running third. Now he's running fifth. He just got passed by Buddy Lazier first, and right afterwards he got passed by his teammate Jeff Ward. Jeff Ward has a great finishing record here. The last 3 years Jeff has finished second and third, and right now he's running in 4th position. And it's not over yet. We have 12 laps to go.
There is Montoya just going out of your frame, and here comes second place Jimmy Vasser. There is Lazier. And not too far behind him is Jeff Ward.
Look for it. You're +6 over Jimmy, you're +10 over Lazier.
That's Chip Ganassi telling Montoya what the situation is.
For those of you just tuning in for ABC World News, just stay with us. We will have it at the conclusion of the Indianapolis 500. We have just a little more than 10 circuits remaining. On board with Buddy Lazier once again as he tries desperately to catch Juan Montoya, and he is catching up to Jimmy Vasser.
Well, he's all over Vasser.
He closed in on Vasser quite a lot that last lap by about 2 seconds.
Now 190 laps completed, 10 to go in the 84th running of the Indianapolis 500, and the leader at lap 190 has failed to win 4 of the last 5. So don't go away. Remember what happened last year as Robbie Gordon came down for the white flag. He ran out of fuel. And we'll see what happens here in the closing stages in 2000. Now Lazier once again closing in on Jimmy Vasser for that second position.
And it looks to me like he's got a great run coming off of 4 here. It's not going to happen this time around, but it looks like it's going to happen soon. And of course, we don't know about Jimmy Vasser's situation. He did not pit on that last lap, on that last yellow, and he might have to come in for fuel. But in the meantime, he's a buffer between Montoya and Lazier, and he can hold him up just enough so Montoya has a real nice cushion.
Well, if Vasser can hold him off, it might not be green light specials at Target. It might be 2 for 1 at the Target stores, Bob.
Jimmy Vasser has competed here 4 times previously. First back in 1992, he finished in 21st position as there is Montoya completing lap number 192. Second year here in Indy, Vasser finished 13th. In 1994, he was 4th. In 95, he was 22nd. And he returns now to the Indianapolis 500 and finds himself in the second spot. But again, Lazier is all over him.
And traffic is right ahead of these 2 guys, but Buddy didn't need the traffic this time. He's doing it on his own. Well, he's getting by right now. and he will be the first one to encounter the traffic up ahead going into turn 3.
And Lazier takes second position from Jimmy Vasser. But there's a long way up front, and laps are drawing short. The interval between Juan Montoya, we will get an interval as soon as Buddy Lazier crosses the line. It is 10.3 seconds, and now Jeff Ward closes in on Jimmy Vasser for the third position.
But there's still a lot of emotions going on with Montoya. He's leading the biggest race that he's run in. He's won the kart championship. He's won 7 races last year, but this is still the biggest race that he might win today, but it's not over yet. 8 laps to go, 7 laps to go right now.
Ward unable to make a move on Vasser that time.
Oh, he got caught in traffic. Ward gets caught in traffic. Vasser's doing everything he can to try to hold on to third spot now.
In our coverage of the practice and qualifying here at Indianapolis this year, we found out that Roberto Guerrero was one of Juan Montoya's heroes, and they met here in Indy this year. Montoya, of course, from Bogota, Colombia, and Roberto Guerrero from Medellin, Colombia. There he is. And he'll come down to complete lap number 195. He finished 4th at Nazareth yesterday in the Kart FedEx Championship event.
5 to go. 5 laps to go.
Lazier.
5 to go. Chip Ganassi tells Juan Montoya, and Montoya goes, okay, he's just really calm and relaxed there. He sounds like he's really in control.
Juan Montoya visited the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the first time last winter, and his first involvement with the track itself was on one of the tour buses, and he said that his first reaction was when he came onto the straightaway, wow, it's a long way to the end.
That's how we all get our first experience. That was my first experience with the Speedway in the bus.
Well, I'll tell you what, it isn't that far to the end right now, Bob.
6 laps to go for Juan Montoya.
Buddy Lazier has closed in a little bit.
4 laps to go, 196 complete.
Buddy Lazier took it down from 10 seconds to 8 seconds with 4 laps to go. Right now, 7.8 seconds.
Well, Buddy's actually 2
and Vasser's coming in. Jimmy Vasser relinquishes his 3rd position to make a pit stop. He is low on fuel and cannot make it.
And he's not a happy camper right now.
And he'll get a splash and go, but it is a disappointing finish for Jimmy.
Well, they pretty much used Jimmy as the guinea pig because he's going to have a lot worse finish than he would have if he would have stopped in sequence.
Juan Montoya began racing at age 5 in go-karts. He has had an amazing career, including the kart championship last year in his rookie year.
Buddy Lazier still trails by about 7 seconds.
There are going to be 2 laps to go here in just a second.
+7 to Lazier, +7 to Lazier, 2 to go.
7.8 seconds to be exact. Next time around, the white flag will come out for Juan Montoya.
It has been an amazing performance for this young man at his age. 2 years ago, he was testing at Williams. He was blindingly fast. That's when Chip Ganassi went over there to watch it test wins. And now he was testing for Williams, and he was so impressed by Montoya testing the car at the time that he said, I'll hire this guy. And it looks like Montoya might be headed for Formula One in the next couple of years for Williams.
Indeed, the white flag is coming out.
White flag, 1 to go.
1 more lap to go for Juan Montoya.
Well, he's got a fast race car, but he's handled every situation thrown at him for 500 miles, Bob.
Especially the start of the race, which was a little dodgy. He didn't come out on top on that one, but he wasn't that eager to take the lead. He got a little squeeze there. Just kind of stayed in 4th place, came back to the front, and has hardly relinquished that lead.
Again, a rookie has not won the Indianapolis 500 since 1966 when Graham Hill drove to victory. It looks like that Juan Montoya is going to do it here this afternoon.
You're the winner of the Indianapolis 500, pal.
Indeed, 24-year-old Juan Montoya wins the 84th running of the Indianapolis 500. Just an incredible performance.
He is happy.
He led 3 times for a total of 167 laps. Montoya becomes the 60th different driver to win the Indianapolis 500.
Buddy Lazier finishes second for the second time.
Juan, Tom Sneem in the ABC booth. First of all, congratulations. Was there anything close out there for you? Juan, great job. Congratulations. Your thoughts going to Victory Circle?
Well, apparently he can't hear us, but he is acknowledging the applause of the crowd. Down to Vince Welch.
With Chip Ganassi. Chip, congratulations. You've just won the Indianapolis 500, and I'm not sure that there's been a more dominating performance from what we saw from Juan Montoya today.
That kid's unbelievable. He's the best driver in the world right now, the best driver in the world. It's that simple.
What's it mean to you to come here on basically a one-race situation and win the race?
It's the biggest moment of my life right now, I can tell you.
He led 167 laps. Considering the current climate of open-wheel racing, the victory and what it means for you, your team, and open-wheel racing.
It's the biggest win of our team. We're just glad to finish after the kind of year we've been having, so we're pretty happy.
Will you run other IRL races?
Let me think about it.
Chip Ganassi, he's the winner. Juan Montoya.
Chip Ganassi then, quite rightly, very, very happy with his man. It's one in the eye for IRL because CART did it to them here at the Indianapolis. We'll have a chat in the studio here at Sky Sports in just a moment. But first, we'll take a break. Stay with us. We've still got a few minutes before we go off air. It's 7 hours of motorsport here. We'll see you in a moment.
He's a master with words.
Go ahead.
A master with women.
Well, you know how it is with rumors.
Expressive. Bold.
You looking at something?
Modest.
I reckon I'm right popular.
It's Jersey Whale!
And dangerous.
People have a nasty habit of getting dead around you.
No introduction necessary. Clint Week starts Monday on Sky Cinema.
The new Mazda Premacy from £14,405 on the road. All of our cars come with a 3-year warranty and an impeccable reputation for quality.
Autotrader.co.uk, you'll find your perfect partner.
If you're a builder, plumber, carpenter or electrician, I've got 2 words to say to you. Screwfix Direct. Call 08000 68 78 88 for a free Screwfix Direct catalogue. I did, and it saved me time, money and effort. Everything in here is top quality at rock bottom prices, and it's 100% ex-stock. So whatever I order before 5, Screwfix Direct aim to deliver it the very next day. Here's one I ordered yesterday. Call now on free phone 08000 68 78 88. You'll be glad you did.
The GTS network connected the artist in Berlin with her agent in Barcelona. We connected the agent with the gallery in Paris. We then connected the gallery with their client, the law office in Amsterdam, which inspired the artist to celebrate the sale of her latest painting by connecting with friends. Imagine what our network could do for your business. GTS, solutions for a borderless world.
Look at this new barbecue. We've got loads down at Homebase, from little ones to really huge ones.
Homebase, for everything you'll need this summer.
For your ancestors, a long journey was just down the path to the next village. But your path must go further, across oceans and continents, into the unfamiliar. That's why United, the US experts, smooths the way to more than 210 US cities. Just think of United as your path to the next village. United Airlines. Life is a journey. Travel it well.
There's at least 20% off at the massive Halfords bike sale, including suspension mountain bikes.
This bank holiday, save at the Currys Summer Sale. It's starting now with massive new reductions. Check the press and get the facts.
Well, there have been some extraordinary scenes in Victory Lane at Indianapolis, and we can cut now to take a look in on them.
500.
Down to Jack Arute in Victory Lane.
And there is a huge smile on the Colombian Juan Montoya as his crew congratulates him. This victory, a lot of it belongs to their crew as well, because they had such phenomenal pit stops. Juan, congratulations. As they said, as Chip said, you're the most famous race car driver in the world right now. How do you feel?
I'm so happy, you know. All the guys at Target, Budweiser, all sponsors did a great job. I'm just so happy.
And there is the traditional swig of milk. Did you have any problems whatsoever today, Juan? Because it looked flawless from our vantage point.
Oh, it was good, you know. The only time I was a bit scared is when Lazier got close to me. And at that time I thought, you know, it's going to be difficult. But I could pull away from him, and I tried so hard. And it's just beautiful for everyone at Target. Just thank you very much.
The last couple of laps before the last pit stop, you were talking back and forth with Chip about maybe changing a wicker. Chip overruled it and said, no, let's go with a wing instead. Good move.
Yeah, it was pretty good, you know. Jimmy tried it and he didn't want to go loose.
All right, this is a very, very, very exciting Victory Lane, Bob.
Congratulations to Juan Montoya and
To the victor, the spoils then. I guess that must have been his girlfriend that leapt up onto the stage there. So there it is, Juan Montoya from Buddy Lazier in second place. Eliseo Salazar dropped back to third. Jeff Ward a fine fourth. Eddie Cheever still hanging in there in fifth. No doubt about it though, this was the man. Juan Pablo Montoya took the win, 167 laps that he led for. And back here in the studio at Sky Sports, still with us, Russell Bulgin, Christopher Tate and Ben Collins, of course. Russell, really you've got to say that one Jenson Button must have been sitting at home watching that lot with interest.
I think so, and I think Frank Williams as well.
That was exactly my point.
I think the interesting thing is that he was just so remorseless. It was relentless. Whenever he came under threat, he could find an advantage. He looked confident, didn't appear to have any problems, and he seemed to be able to have between 6 and 8 seconds in his pocket at any time. It's a wonderful drive. It'll go down as one of the great drives of the year.
Ben, from your point of view, a driver's point of view, I mean, it looked faultless to us. We've not been behind the wheel. He looked dead calm, cool and collected. He didn't look like he'd worked up a sweat in that at all. Controlled the race throughout. Any flaws in that performance anywhere that you saw?
It was perfect. I think he absolutely blitzed everybody. I mean, he was aggressive in traffic and just cut through them. Whenever anybody got close to me, he just managed to pull out a gap. Even Lazier, he said that threatened him a bit, but he just punched out a gap straight away and just destroyed them.
Christopher, I mean, a great spectacle. It might have got off late, 3 hours late for that matter, but in the end it was worth waiting for, wasn't it? I mean, there had been some great racing throughout the 200 laps.
Yeah, and it has been a long day. It's been a long day for all the fans, and I'm sure the drivers were well worn out on the nerves before we even got started. But what a race, and what worth waiting for. Tremendous performance by Montoya. And it has to be said that though the Ganassi team came and saw and conquered in the phrase, I was impressed by Buddy Lazier, Eliseo Salazar. That's a good result for him, it really is. And the IRL regulars have not got to hang their heads in shame at all. Yes, an impressive performance by an extremely slick team. And the pit stops were tremendous. Montoya was tremendous. But, you know, that's not at all a non-competitive race. He led 167 laps. But the others were in there, and as he said, Lazier gave him a fright. He said, I got scared there. So great racing, great racing.
Well, of course, the fact was that the team didn't get it all right because Jimmy Vasser, they got themselves out of sequence in the end. I mean, it could so easily have been a different story here. Jimmy Vasser, I can't remember which one of our trio in here actually suggested that perhaps Chip Ganassi plays off two team men in two different strategies, but certainly it was a mess for Jimmy Vasser because it looked at one time like we were going to be in for a 1-2 there.
Yes, it did, and that's a real shame. He had to go for the splash and go, and once that happens towards the end, I mean, there were only 7 or 8 cars on the first lap, and he dropped back to 7th, so that was that. There ain't no time.
And to think at one stage there was even reports of a sprinkling of rain towards the end of that race. We were on the edge of our seats here right to the very last lap, weren't we, Russ?
Yeah, it was a wonderful, wonderful race from Montoya. And you have to say that he does look really good at the moment. He's got another championship to chase with the kart series. His car in that's getting quicker and quicker. He's going to have a hell of a year.
OK, well, let's get the race result confirmed then. It was the 24-year-old Colombian that took the win. He was a rookie. That's what the R designates there. And since 1966, when Mr. Hill won it, Juan Montoya has had to make us wait. Buddy Lazier in second place. Eliseo Salazar there in third. Jeff Ward from Glasgow. We can claim him. He was a Glaswegian once before moving across to America, of course. So Jeff Ward, although he did move when he was very young, I think a couple of years old. So 4th place for him. Eddie Cheever came back up. I almost missed him. 5th place for him. Robbie Gordon, he was my man from the NASCAR fraternity there in 6th place. Still a good one for him. Jimmy Vasser eventually finishing in 7th place. Stéphane Grégoire, obviously from France, in 8th place there. Scott Goodyear, 9th for him. Scott Sharp in 10th. And Mark Dismore eventually in 11th place. Well, they are, of course, the unofficial results. We're assuming that those cars will remain legal and there wasn't anything too much that had gone on that we didn't see. For you, Ben, what were the high points of this race meeting? Out of the obvious, I mean, we've seen Montoya so brilliant. For you, were there any high points particularly that you spotted throughout the day's racing?
I suppose one of the low points is seeing Greg Ray go out because I sort of really look forward to a good scrap between him and Montoya. They looked like they were in a class of their own. And I think that would have made the race a lot different if he managed to stay on and they'd sort of got things a bit, things gone a bit better for him. Would have been much more interesting because no one really challenged Montoya. Buddy Lazier had a good go at it, but just couldn't quite hold it together. I think he came close, but there wasn't really a strong challenge from anybody. So I think just Montoya dominated, and that was pretty much it.
Well, I chucked you a question earlier on, Russell, on purpose, and you glossed over it just a little bit. But the fact is that Jenson Button will be watching with some consonance, no doubt, at home, because it's rumoured that Montoya might replace him at Williams. Frank Williams will be have his opinion strengthened, I would say, by that very, very mature performance at Indianapolis. Get off the fence and tell us what you think.
Oh, that's a terrible question. I tell you something, I suspect that I'd like to know what Ralf Schumacher made of that performance, because it was very Ralf Schumacher-like in just the sheer relentlessness of it. It just makes Williams' decision even harder at the end of the day, doesn't it?
Yeah, but he's a man that's pretty cutthroat when it comes to a decision, and he will make a decision, and he won't budge from that.
Yeah, but it would have been much easier if Montoya had thrown it in the wall on lap 3 and everybody could have gone, well,
OK, let's move to the politician amongst our panel, Christopher. If you were Frank, which you're obviously not, but I mean, it's now become quite a hard decision to make. You've got Montoya that's flying at the moment, Jenson Button that has been absolutely brilliant and driven his socks off all year, way beyond, I think, most people's expectations. If you were Frank, what would you do in the circumstances, if indeed one has to replace the other?
If one has to replace the other. I think if it hadn't been for the extraordinary ill luck or confusion or whatever it was that gave Zanardi that terrible year last year with the Williams team, I don't think there'd be any doubt at all. All due respect to Jenson Button, he's done a good job first year, but what would you do? That boy has to look like one of the best top 3-4 drivers in the world in any series across everything at the moment, and to get him into your Formula 1 team, you'd be crazy not to snap him up.
OK, Ben, this probably comes as the hardest question all night for you, and it's been a long, long day for you. Jenson Button's driven brilliantly, hasn't he? You'd agree with that. Juan Pablo Montoya has had a lot of experience at this level, despite the fact he's a rookie today. We've made some build up to that. What would you be thinking from a driver's point of view between those two?
I think Jenson's doing a brilliant job. To get in a F1 car in his first year and do as well as he's done is no mean feat at all, and he's given Ralf a real run for his money.
How does it compare with Montoya's performance today?
I think it's different. I mean, when Wham first went out to IndyCar and Champ Car, in his first season won the championship. That's incredible. It's a turn from Formula 3000 to jump straight into that. I don't think, and he also jumped into the best seat. Jensen's had to put up with a lot of engine failures, that kind of thing. BMW getting to grips with it all. It's a different scenario. But I think that there's probably more than just Williams drivers that are worrying about their seats with Montoya on the scene.
We've got a great racing scene at the moment, Russell, haven't we? All over the world.
Fantastic. I'll tell you something really interesting about Montoya's performance today, if you think about it, and that is that when he went to Champ Car, he jumped into a car which was proven, which was set up by Alex Zanardi, and was 99% sorted when he sat in it. Today, the team was fresh to the car. The team hadn't run the car in any other races, so he had to lead the setup. He had to work with the engineers. So I think he sort of proved himself even more, if you like, today than he had done in Champ Car last year.
Well, they had to run on a completely clean track, which they had no data on how to reset the car up on a track that had been washed, sadly, by too much rain. Very clean indeed.
And a British car as well.
And a British car, which is really good. I mean, we were talking earlier on about the head-to-head between G-Force and Dallara. We saw that interesting film while we were waiting for the race to start after the delay about the way Dallara operates. But G-Force must be very happy people, and they deserve that. That's a great performance. They sold the cars to the Ganassi team, and Ganassi was on the button straight away.
Ganassi's commitment to this race, I mean, considering he's from the kart series, I mean, he's had to come a long way round, hasn't he, to this? And he's done a brilliant job as a team owner, I would say.
You'd have to say that they're not only the best racing team in America, with 4 championships in 4 years, and now the Indy 500. They must be one of the best racing teams in the world. And of course, he's planning to go Winston Cup next year as well. Just an exemplary performance. And every pit stop seemed to be at least 2 seconds quicker than the opposition can manage. And that's just down to good racecraft, good people, good drill, good practice. I mean, they're a pure racing team. They did a fantastic job.
It's unusual to sit and watch a faultless performance from both team and driver, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, they've both done a great job. Like we were saying earlier, it's 50-50. They got the car set up right. To a certain extent, Jimmy Vasser helped Montoya because he tried the different gurney, didn't work on his car, and therefore they didn't put it onto Montoya's. So he had a completely clean run. The pit stops were mega. They were so fast, and Wan was brilliant as well. So I think that's both those things together made it look so dominant.
Thank you very much. Well, it was another great Indianapolis 500, but there is plenty more top US motorsport here on Sky over the next month. Next weekend we'll be with the latest round of the Busch Grand National Series from Dover Downs. That's Saturday, June the 3rd at 6 p.m. Then in 2 weeks' time we've a double helping, both Busch and IRL races back to back on Saturday evening. We'll start on Sky Sports Extra with the race from South Boston Speedway at 10 p.m. Then we'll switch to Texas for the Longhorn 500 on Sky Sports 2 starting at 1 a.m. And you can watch highlights of today's 500 within World Motorsports at 10 p.m. tomorrow in a programme which also includes the latest round of Japan's Formula Nippon Series and some great national racing. Well, that's it from us here at the moment from Sky Sports. Hope you enjoyed the programme. 7 hours of brilliant motorsport. Bye for now.